Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our second race edition on this Sunday evening of a NASCAR live race commentary live stream. I'm pulling up the chat on the channel right now. Appreciate those of you tuning in for the Production Alliance Group 300 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. As this race got washed out yesterday, they are actually currently racing right now. I had no clue they started the race. I came back up here. And the original start time was supposed to be at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I come up here, I turn the TV on, and they're already 7 laps into the race. So currently on lap 11 of stage number 1, 150 laps, 300 miles will be the total race length for today. And as far as what we are looking at right now, you can see the leaderboard on the channel as usual. 35 laps in Stage 1. John Hunter Nemechek is currently your race leader. Austin Hill at 2nd. Justin Allgaier 3rd. Cole Custer 4th. Riley Herbst 5th. Chandler Smith 6th. Brandon Jones 7th. Sammy Smith 8th. Josh Berry 9th. Tyler Reddick is up to 10th. Ryan Sieg at 11th. Parker Kligerman 12th. Daniel Hemrick 13th. 14th is Sheldon Creed. Brett Moffitt 15th. Sam Mayer 16th. 17th is Joe Graff Jr. Kaz Gralla 18th, Ty Dillon 19th, and Timmy Hill is 20th. Anthony Alfredo 21st, Jeremy Clements 22nd, Josh Williams 23rd, Brendan Poole 24th, Bailey Curry 25th, 26th is Jeb Burton, Kyle Sieg 27th, Ross Chastain 28th, Raja Karut 29th, Alex Obey is 30th, David Starr 31st, Greg Golding 32nd, 33rd is Blaine Perkins, 34th Joey Gase, Parker Retzlaff 35th, 36th is Ryan Ellis, Jeffrey Earnhardt and 37th, and CJ McLaughlin 38th. Everybody on the lead lap right now. I don't believe we have had a caution so far. And John Hunter Nemechek has led every lap so far today. Austin Hill, who qualified on the pole, or I guess started on the pole, is currently in 2nd, 0.4 of a second off the race lead for Nemechek, who started on the outside of the front row and quickly was able to get to the lead. My race win pick for this race specifically, Cole Custer. So we'll see how he'll fare in today's race. I originally picked Austin Dillon last night. I switched my pick once I found out that the Xfinity race is going to be rained today, just because Austin Dillon, Ross Chastain, and look, I don't know what that was that hit the windshield of Cole Custer's race car. But anyway, with the Cup guys that were running earlier today having to run 700 miles potentially in one race, I took my pick from Austin Dillon and changed it. Currently, he is in 18th place. I might have said Ty Dillon, by the way. So Austin Dillon is in the 10 car, currently in 18th. He is running a 3rd entry for Colleague Racing today. Billy Kramer, Ice Demon King 92 Hammer, NASCAR Cup Series 2311 Racing. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I don't know why the race started so early. I'm confused, honestly. I was told 8 o'clock, and I come up here 3 minutes to 8, and it's on lap 7. And I knew I wasn't going to be able to start the stream until 8 because that was the original start time for it. So went live at lap 11. We're on lap 15 right now. But appreciate everybody tuning in. Otherwise, still trying to get caught up myself here on exactly where we're at, where everybody's running, following the starting positions for some of the drivers in the field. But everybody on the lead lap here in the early going. We have 20 laps to go in Stage 1. Nobody has to pit for fuel purposes at all. It'll be interesting if anybody maybe pits for tires. If we get any cautions before the end of Stage 1, you can guarantee that we'll definitely be seeing some drivers pit for tires. At least it depends how many laps we're expected to have left when they get back to racing following the stage break. They just showed John Hunter Nemechek rounding out the bottom through turns 3 and 4. Half of his car down to the apron. You can see the sparks flying out from underneath it as his body was... not really his body, but just the undercarriage of the race car just dragging on the race car. You can definitely tell how low these things sit to the ground. Parker Kligerman battling right now with the 39 car of Ryan Sieg for 13th place. Kligerman running full time in that 48 car this season. And he'll pick up a spot. Sheldon Creed, who started pretty deep in the field, currently back in 12th, and it looks like caution is out. And I believe this is a comp yellow. Yep, okay. I figured they were going to have a competition caution. So comp yellow at lap 15, just like in the Cup race earlier today. Again, that is because not only the race was rained out yesterday, but all practice and qualifying was washed out yesterday as well. So by the time they restart, we're only going to have maybe 15 or 16 laps to go in the stage. I don't think anybody's going to stay out of the pits. This isn't a green racetrack like we saw in the Cup race earlier today because, of course, we had 400 miles of Cup action already today, so a lot of rubber laid down in this racetrack before the start of this Xfinity race tonight. It'll be interesting to see exactly how all this is going to go down. Dale Campbell, welcome into the stream as well. I still have my voice available, by the way. No lack thereof. Joe Graff Jr., by the way, in the 19 car for Joe Gibbs Racing today. He'll be splitting and making some starts here and there throughout the course of the season in that race car. Let's see if I can sweep the weekend. Try to go 2 for 2. I haven't predicted two Cup races predicted correctly already this year. None in the Xfinity or the Truck Series. Granted, they both only had one race so far. Versus the Cup Series, at least I had the Clash and the dual races to try to pick from. Field will be coming into the pits, though, this time, led by John Hunter Nemechek.
I would think so, and if your crew chief makes you stay out here, you're going to get run over big time. Oh, no,
look at this.
What?
Look at this.
No way. No. The 7 stayed out. Okay.
John Hunter Nemechek, Brandon Jones, Justin Allgaier, Josh Berry, and others staying out of the pits. Everybody else on their way in.
We were planning to come, and it was a last-second change for the guys at Myrie Pit Road. The number 9 car, Brandon Jones, as well as the number 8 car. They decided right in the last minute to stay on the racetrack. Both those cars pretty decent right now. A little strategy play for later on. Josh?
Well, the pole sitter, Austin Hill, said his car is just a little too tight through the center. He gets back to the throttle as well, and he spins those tires a little too much, so he needs a little more front turn.
Interesting that the top handful of drivers stayed out. A lot of the Junior Motorsports Chevrolets, as well as John Hunter Nemechek, who was in the race lead. Now, I get what they're thinking. We're not going to have many laps left, but with how much tires matter at this racetrack, I just do not see how that is going to work out for themselves, but we'll just have to wait and see on this restart. Should have north of 10 laps to go. Maybe they're hoping for a quick caution on the restart that log in more caution laps. I don't know what the case is, but final race at the Auto Club Speedway. Cup Series no longer will be racing on the 2-mile oval. It'll be reconfigured to a hybrid half-mile oval short track, if you will. A hybrid of Martinsville and Bristol. They want longer straightaways, kind of like Martinsville has with tighter corners, but those tighter corners will be banked to similar degrees of banking of Bristol. So it'll be kind of a mixture of the two, a short track in which we really don't kind of have anything quite like that on the NASCAR Cup schedule as of right now. So that'll add a unique short track to the list of the few that we already have. But this is the final race on the 2-mile oval today. Hopefully you enjoyed our coverage of the Cup race earlier on. You can subscribe, hit the like button for more coverage of more NASCAR races all season long. Next weekend, Truck Xfinity Cup right here on the channel. They're all at Las Vegas Friday night with the Truck race. Xfinity race will be Saturday. And then on Sunday will be the Cup Series. And I will look up the start time of those as well. I'll look up the start times real quick. I don't know what happened to my NASCAR app there for a second. I thought I was already logged into it. So, why does it keep restarting on me? It's the second time in a row. Tried to open the app up and it keeps restarting. Then I just got an ad from Coke Zero. So the Truck Series race will be on Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Start Time, so kind of late for me here on the East, but that will be the live commentary Friday night. Xfinity race will be Saturday evening, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Start Time, and the Cup Series race, our commentary will begin at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Start Time. So same start time for the Cup race next weekend is what it was today. And as for the Truck Series, again, that will be at 9 next week. Again, all times Eastern Standard Time, and then 4:30 on Saturday evening for the Xfinity Series race. Lunkers with Lucas, Diana Alves, Terry Lewis, Frank Powers, Pete Kramer also welcome back in. Races on Fox Sports 2, for those of you wondering. If you're not able to watch the race on Fox Sports 2, we got the coverage for you guys here today. We topped out at about 170 plus people watching at one point in time for the Cup race earlier today. More info on that over the next 24 to 48 hours. I think we're going to be posting the ratings off of the channel every week between all three series, kind of like I did with Daytona last week. It's kind of curious. It's fun to look at. Obviously, like, I know it's my channel. I'm not really like gloating about how many views necessarily, but it's interesting to see who is watching the races on the channel, and especially whether they're able to not watch the races, just as another avenue, because people talk about TV ratings in NASCAR, I feel like, a lot nowadays on the internet. So it's kind of curious to see the other side of the spectrum, online that isn't actually TV, who's all watching other NASCAR coverage. So right here on the channel, of course, you can find it all. Green flag back in the air. John Hunter Nemechek leads the field down into turns 1 and 2, elected the outside lane. Now, the outside never really worked out too well in the Cup Series on the initial start, except for that final restart, most notably when Kyle Busch was able to get to the lead and work it well. A lot of four-wide racing going on in the back half of the top 10 right now. Some of the Junior Motorsports Chevrolets that had stayed out of the pit starting to drop back. Josh Berry being one of those, and now Brandon Jones in the 9 car also starting to get hung out. Austin Hill's the first car on 4 fresh tires from Petty. He is up to 3rd place off of turn 4. 4 wide again off the exit of the corner as Raja Caruth nearly makes contact with Josh Berry. Caruth clears him off the exit of turn 4, and still 3 wide racing going on in front of him. Austin Hill will clear Justin Allgaier for 2nd going into turn 1. And the 0-0 of Stone Cold Custer up to 3rd place as he is going to make the pass on Allgaier. Austin Hill quickly to the lead. 15 laps to go, stage 1. John Hunter Nemechek led the first 20 laps of today's race. Austin Hill will complete the 2nd lead change after he started on the pole for the 2nd straight race and trying to win the 2nd straight race to start the season as well. Remember, only 12 spots available in the Xfinity Series playoff field. Sheldon Creed ripping the outside, getting by Sammy Smith in the 18, who is on older tires, as well as he is now getting blocked on the front stretch by Brandon Jones, so he'll just bump draft him, trying to get him by the 25 and the 11 down on the inside. And he is 3 wide on the outside lane into turns 1 and 2. Now maybe trying to split the middle with Brandon Jones in that 4th lane up high as they were 4 wide again. Creed all the way up to 8th place as he clears the 9 and the 25. Brett Moffitt in the 25 car. Riley Herbst underneath Justin Allgaier. Creed back down to the bottom to get by the 7. More towards the middle as he stays higher than the 98 car and hopes to get alongside him off turn 4. He'll just have to dive back in line behind. John Hunter Nemechek loses another spot as Chandler Smith will move up to 3rd. Smith will clear high at the start-finish line. Potentially, nope, not yet. Still side by side. And now he will clear him just before getting into turn 1. And a dive bomb move to the bottom by Riley Herbst to try to go for 4th. He's got the spot. Sheldon Creed into the middle lane, trying to clear the 20 as well, and does. And everybody that stayed out of the pits losing a lot of track position right now after that early caution, and this is going to cost them a chance. Now, there were 12 sets of tires in the Cup race earlier. There were 8 cautions total, so never ran into an issue where they had to use more tires than what they had. A lot of teams still had a couple sets of tires left over at the end of the race, no problem. Not sure how many they have in the Xfinity Series, but that could come into play for why Nemechek and the Junior Motorsports Chevrolets of Brandon Jones and Justin Allgaier, as well as Josh Berry, all stayed out of the pits. Tyler Reddick also stayed out along with Sammy Smith. And they were all dropping back and already outside the top 10. The only cars that stayed out that are still in the top 10 would be Allgaier in 9th and then Nemechek in 6th. So Austin Hill leads, Cole Custer 2nd, Chandler Smith 3rd, Riley Herbst in 4th, Sheldon Creed is 5th with 12 laps to go in stage 1. And Cole Custer on the outside lane running downhill, who's kind of working more of that middle to bottom lane consecutively on the racetrack. We'll see if he goes maybe to the top to take Custer's line away in 1 and 2. Custer goes to the middle, and as well goes the 21. So both off the wall, but the 0-0 still closes, maybe making contact with the left rear corner panel, trying to loosen Hill up, and they're side by side for the lead on the back straight. Hill going down, trying to side draft the 0-0 of Custer. Back up to widen his corner entry off into turn 3. And Custer going to drive clear. He has won the last 2 Xfinity races at Auto Club, trying to go for 3 in a row. In that 0-0 car, he actually won the 0-7 last year, but still an SHR entry. His teammate Riley Herbst, though, up to 4th place and is slowly closing in on Chandler Smith for position as well. Sammy Smith, Josh Berry battling for 15th. Side by side, Custer quickly pulling away from Hill, who is now back to 2nd. Custer's about 2 seconds ahead of Chandler Smith and Riley Herbst, who are in 3rd and 4th. Hill back down to the bottom, but he's nowhere close enough to try to get back to the inside of the car he was battling for position, which would be Custer for the lead. 91 car, Ross Chastain, finished 3rd in the Cup race earlier today. Started deep in the field, up to 17th right now, trying to work his way forward. A lot of drivers on older tires around him as well now. And I believe the caution flag is out at lap 27 of 150. And that is because the 08 of Greg Gaulding has made contact with the outside wall. Right front tire has blown out on that race car, bringing out our 2nd caution in the early going of the race. First for incident, we had the comp yellow at lap 15. And now a pretty hard impact with the outside wall. And it seemed to be in turns 1 and 2 from Greg Gaulding. Heavy damage on that race car. Trying to get it back to pit road. A lot of smoke coming out of the right front where that tire is rubbing on the fender of the race car. Right front is already flat though. See if we get a replay of the impact. Now we're going to still have a restart before the end of the stage, so this will be interesting. I would imagine everybody that stayed out of the pits, Allgaier, Jones, Smith, Nemechek, Barry, and others, there were a few cars that stayed out, like 5 or 6. I think Kligerman might have stayed out also. So replay on the visor cam from, I think that might be Raja Karuth in the 45. It looked like Gaulding was already on the outside, so it lessened the blow, because if he would have been on the bottom lane before that tire blew, that is a long way to get to the outside wall at this racetrack. We've seen those issues before with drivers taking hard hits. Luckily, he was already towards the wall. Still hard hit nonetheless, and it will take him out of the race, but maybe could have knocked the wind out of him, or even worse if he might have been on the bottom lane. That car is definitely severely damaged. Now the drivers at the front of the field, because of the lack of tires in the Xfinity Series versus the Cup side of things, I would have to imagine that they are more than likely going to stay out of the pits here to the end of the stage. So the drivers who stayed out the last time, you know, do they pit to try to get the stage points back, or do they stay out again knowing that they're already outside the top 10 anyway? Outside of Nemechek, who's in 10th, but he's more than likely going to get passed by a bunch of cars on the restart. Anyway, so yeah, very interesting situation here for strategy purposes of who may pit and who may not pit. It's me. Thanks for tuning in. Listen to the commentary during the Cup race during the day. Much better than TVs. With you on this race also. Thanks. Well, thank you for tuning in. Christopher Jimenez, thanks for watching as well. Appreciate we got 60 people in the chat. I'm curious to see if we get more people watching this race, with it being a Sunday night for the Xfinity Series versus on a Saturday. Can't remember exactly how many people we had watching the Xfinity race last week at Daytona. I think it was around what we had for the Cup race today. I thought it was in like the high 100s, low 200s. Curious what our numbers will be before the end of this race here tonight, especially with it being the last race at Auto Club. Saw a pretty good race today. Wasn't an instant classic by any means, but feel good story at the end. Kyle Busch getting his first win at RCR. Big notable headline there. Dominant start to the year for Kyle Busch, looking quickly like the Kyle Busch pre-2020. doing great this evening. I'm surprised. I have a voice capable of, I believe, making it to the end. I've gone through a lot of water. This is my 3rd cup already since the cup race started. Allgaier coming into the pits. Got a couple guys at the tail end of the lead lap also pitting. Sam Mayer is in. I think that is Tyler Reddick in as well.
Down into the track, so they're going to try and give him an air pressure adjustment to help him get off the splitter, guys.
Tyler Reddick making a stop.
No tires. Little damage repair from getting put in the wall there early in the race.
Saw a quick look at our Toyota onboard camera with Reddick, who will be driving that 24 next Saturday in Las Vegas for Sam Hunt Racing. 2 cars full-time this year for Sam. There's our Toyota onboard. Working on the left front. Under caution.
So there you go. Tyler Reddick will be in the Xfinity race next weekend in that 24 car as well for Sam Hunt Racing. 2 weeks in a row. A lot of Cup guys running the Xfinity Series this weekend and out west. I think Kyle Busch is supposed to run his first Xfinity race next weekend at Las Vegas as well, and that'll be the first time he'll be in the series since 2021 when he won all 5 races he started in. So we'll get to see Reddick and Busch try to go head-to-head in the Xfinity Series. Cole Custer leads in the early going. He was 4-1 odds to win. He was the Vegas favorite. He's my favorite to win this race as well. Trying to sweep the weekend. I don't usually predict the Xfinity truck races, but I also don't always do live commentary for those races until this year, so I figured why not? Let's try it. What have I been up to today? Well, I streamed the Cup race. That's about it. Gathered my notes earlier for the race started. Now we're ready to go here for race 2. Stage 1 in the books. Sorry, not in the books yet. We're going to have a restart that'll decide the end of this first stage. Should only have anywhere between 3 to 4 laps to go on the restart once they get the cleanup all done and taken care of in turn 2 where Greg Gaulding crashed for blowing a right front tire. We didn't see any tire failures in the Cup race earlier today, but we did see quite a bit of tire degradation over the course of the long runs. Never really came into a strategy effect because we had cautions paced out throughout the first 2 stages, and then into the final stage, we had about a 59-lap green flag run that ended the race. Drivers pretty much split that run in half, and that was about it. We'll see if maybe we get more tire strategy in this one with these 2 early cautions and already seen some drivers pit, some stay out. We saw it very early in the Cup race earlier. It didn't really work out too well. Put some drivers back in traffic that eventually ended up getting involved in accidents. Specifically that bigger accident coming to the restart early in stage 2 that took Reddick and Ryan Preece out. Preece was one of the drivers that had stayed out of the pits and put himself in that situation. Watch spring training baseball today? Yeah, I don't really watch spring training. Beautiful sunset. California Speedway, the lights coming on. We haven't seen a night race, scheduled night race at least at Auto Club in quite some time in NASCAR. And a lot of fans sticking out the Cup race earlier today to watch the Xfinity race on a Sunday night. Green flag is back in the air again. Cole Custer and Austin Hill on the front row for the restart. 4 laps to go in stage 1. Hill on the bottom, Custer on the outside. Outside seemed to work better in the Xfinity race off the start than the Cup race. 4 wide middle of the pack right now between Sammy Smith, and he made contact with somebody. I believe it was Parker Kligerman. And no, it was not Sammy Smith who was underneath him. The 26 car making contact with Kligerman on the back straightaway. As they were 4 wide, that's going to allow, I believe, that might be Raja Karuth trying to make a pass for position on both of those cars. He was able to clear Kligerman. Now Kligerman up the middle going 3 wide, splitting Ryan Sieg. And I believe one of the Coley cars, yep, Austin Dillon in the 10. trying to battle for some stage points. Battling for 9th place on the track. Dillon not racing for points in the Xfinity Series. Big block up towards the front of the field from Chandler Smith on Riley Herbst. Down to the bottom of the track, both cars go through 3 and 4. That's going to open up the top lane for the car on the outside of Daniel Hemrick in the 11. Who has to stay in line behind the 98 and the 16. The 16 went to side draft the 98, instead made a second maneuver to just block the outside, gets a push from behind, and that'll help him on the front stretch try to steer clear of the 98 of Herbst, who has to stay on the bottom again into turns 1 and 2. At the front of the field, Cole Custer has about a 3 to 4 car length lead on Austin Hill with about a lap and a half to go in stage 1. Sheldon Creed starting to close in on the 3-car battle ahead of him between the 16, 11, and 98. Now making it a 4-car battle for 3rd place, coming to the final lap of stage 1 this time by. The stage break will be our 3rd caution of the day in these first 35 laps. And we'll more than likely see the field hit pit road, except for those that might have pitted just before the end of the stage at the tail end of the field. Custer out now to a half a second lead. Chandler Smith still holding a couple car length advantage for 3rd over Daniel Hemrick. Hemrick on crutches coming into the race weekend had hurt himself working out. Had a knee issue, was unable to get an MRI because that had taken place Thursday night apparently, and had to fly out on Friday morning to get to the racetrack. Went through NASCAR protocol to make sure that if he was able to get in any sort of an issue where he had to get out of the car quickly, that he had to show and prove that he was able to do so. So, racing injured. We don't know the extent of that, but we'll find out here over the next couple days when he flies back to Charlotte. He'll be able to take a closer look at that knee, get the medical advice, and we'll see what that will be going forward for Hemrick. But racing on crutches coming into the day. Cole Custer going to win stage 1 by about 0.4 of a second over Austin Hill. Hill ends up in 2nd, Chandler Smith 3rd, Daniel Hemrick 4th, Riley Herbst 5th, Sheldon Creed 6th, Brett Moffitt 7th, Austin Dillon 8th, John Hunter Nemechek 9th, and Parker Kligerman will round out the top 10. I think Nemechek was still on older tires there and actually was able to hold on to get at least a couple stage points, so props to him for doing that. He led the first 20 laps of the race before losing the lead to those who pitted during the competition caution when he had stayed out. So he has led the most laps so far with 20. Custer with 11 laps led, and Austin Hill has led 4 laps. Those are the 3 different leaders, 4 lead changes so far through 36 laps. Patrick Chatterley, thanks for tuning in also. Oh yeah, doubleheader. This is the first live commentary double. Well, no, never mind. That's a lie. We did the ARCA and Xfinity race same day on Saturday last week, and now we got this week. We'll have a lot of truck and Xfinity doubleheaders and specific tracks once we get later in the season as well. That we'll be having some Saturday doubleheaders, but wasn't expecting to ever have a Sunday doubleheader this season. But with the rain out, to yesterday's Xfinity race, now having to run it on a Sunday night after the Cup Series. Kind of weird having the Xfinity race after the Cup race. I feel like the race weekend should have been done already at the end of the Cup race earlier today. And I'm like, man, I got a live stream again later tonight. So it was kind of a weird feeling. I actually like commentating the Xfinity, Truck Series, whatever, earlier in the weekend, because I feel like it gets me prepped and ready to go, because I was doing a bunch of, pre-race work for Daytona 500 qualifying, trying to prep myself, get ready to go for that stream. Felt a little jittery, just a little bit. I felt like it was a little bit off, but I felt like progressively throughout the course of the week, my commentary was getting better and better and better, and it kind of stunk not being able to do live commentary for a full 7 days, because I went from the Cup race and the Daytona 500 last week, thought I left off on a fairly good note. And then I come back today, and I felt like it took me about a stage and a half to really get in the rhythm of getting back into the commentating side of things. And especially with not doing any sort of live streams at all on Friday and Thursday. I was out of town Thursday night, and then Friday just taking the night off, trying to, just recoup, get ready for the weekend. And we were supposed to go live Saturday for the Xfinity race, and we did. I mean, we live streamed for about an hour until they ended up calling the race before it actually started, because they did have the cars on the track at one point in time. They were getting ready to go green, so had to start the live stream in that sense. But needless to say, we are racing now for the Xfinity Series. And cool that we at least get one more race today. And they are able to get both races in full as well with that.
That was 50%.
Allgaier said, I came to race. Thank you very much. He wanted to be turned loose there.
He wants to go. I mean, I see the strategy here, right? Put the tires on right around, save them to where you have 5 laps on your tires, but there are 5 easy laps on your tires. It's still, I mean, you're still going fast. You're still wearing them out. It's not as good as new tires, but it's a way to try to leapfrog some track position here.
There's like 5 or 6 drivers that still have not made a pit stop. And they absolutely cannot wait to come down here and get some tires. The top 8 pitted at lap 17.
Leaders coming into the pits.
Those fresh tires to gain some good stage points, and undoubtedly they'll come back down here for set number 2.
Not only tires, but work on their cars.
Yeah.
They haven't even been able to put a wrench in the window, so we'll see. What are they saying down there, Regan?
Well, riding the 11 car, Daniel Hemrick, he did get those tires earlier on, and he is still struggling with the handling just a little bit in 4th place right now. He's waiting on the front end of that car. When he goes to the gas pedal, it finally turns, but he's got to wait too long. And the 2 is Sheldon Creed. That car got looser after his first set of tires, decided that they want to tighten it up even more than what they have already. Josh?
Well, your stage 1 winner, Cole Custer, has left 14 laps with that car. He said it's still a little too tight. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment to help him out. As far as the 21 of Austin Hill, he was saying it was getting a little too tight at the 3/4 mark and then snappy loose, so they're going to help him out with a little turn, and they're going to give him 4 tires and fuel as well, guys.
Cole
And
Custer
the race off pit road.
gonna win the race out of the pits.
Cole Custer, Austin Hill the second out. Hemrick picks up a spot. A few drivers staying on track. Allgaier as anticipated. Jeremy Clements, his teammate Justin's teammate Sam Mayer also staying out there.
What do you say we dial up the stage 1 winner, Cole Custer? Hey, Cole Custer, Blaney, Logano, and Adam Alexander in the booth. You got me.
Didn't really get going.
I think you talked over all those people.
Talked over. Awesome.
Welcome to the team.
Try it one more time. Hey, Cole Custer, Blaney, Logano, and Adam Alexander in the booth. You got me?
Yep, I got you guys.
Well, you won the first stage, kind of looking like last year when you dominated. What's the racetrack been doing? What have you been feeling at your first laps on this racetrack? And after you guys got tires, you know, you didn't save a set for the end. Some guys did. How do you think that's going to play in later?
Oh, well, hopefully we don't get too many cautions later on. You know, I mean, we didn't think that we're going to have to use that set later. So I think I have full faith in JT down there. I think he made a smart move there. And, you know, good thing we got the stage win. But overall, I mean, our car is pretty good. You know, can't think production alliance being on the car and Ford Mustang was pretty solid. So just got to keep it going and hopefully keep this clean air.
Well, the Mustang looks good up front. Hopefully you can keep it up there. Good luck, and we'll be watching.
Thank you, guys.
He mentioned JT. That's his crew chief, Jonathan Toney, who made a nice call there and has got his driver in position. And it's been a long day for everyone, including those back in Charlotte, hanging out in the studio. Let's go there now. What's up, Shannon?
Hey there, Adam. Yeah, it's been a great day. Doubleheader here on Fox and, of course, on FS2. Getting ready for Stage 2 out there at Fontana in the Xfinity Series. Let's get you caught up on how things have gone down so far with some race highlights, why don't we? Of course, these guys had to wait an extra day, and things got racy pretty early.
They wasted no time. You see Tyler Reddick getting to the outside of Sam Mayer. A little bit of contact, but both of those cars were able to continue on, Larry.
And Daniel Hemrick, he wasted no time in that 11 car. Started 35th, made his way to finish 4th at the end of the Stage 1.
And the man that we just talked to, Cole Custer, used a little bit of strategy, pitted under that competition caution, was able to get by Austin Hill, take the lead, and they've been able to maintain that lead through these pit stops.
Second caution, Greg Galding in that 08 car. He gets in the wall, and this continues to set up some different strategy for different teams.
John Hunter Nemechek, Cole Custer. Cole Custer, the stage 1 winner, but John Hunter Nemechek and Cole Custer have been the lap leaders so far in this race out there at Fontana. And, you know, hey, listen, Ryan, we heard what you had to say about the promo out there and how they didn't put you on there. So we've taken care of that, my friend. This is the Ryan Blaney Race Day Studios, okay? So,
by the way, I love how you guys set up the strategy. They'll either pit or they'll either stay out. I love it.
One or the other, right? I mean,
just take a shot. Just take a shot, Larry.
Well, Larry, you did that for decades. I mean, you only had 2 choices. I mean, what do you expect?
Hey, this from the man. This from the man who says, hey, if you follow the leader, you'll just follow the leader. He's taking shots at us. This is spectacular.
well, there you go. It's Ryan Blaney Race Day Studios. Just for you, Ryan. Here you go. You're welcome here anytime.
I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. We love you.
Oh, boy. I'm glad the studio stayed around, huh? I mean, that really helped us out.
That's good. Are you happy better after my bad day I had on the racetrack, so it's good.
Well, one to go. A little choose action here. You got the here's kind of how things set up here. You got the 7 as the leader, and he has 5 laps of easy running on his tires. The 51, I believe, has the same strategy.
Yeah, and Mayer, the top 3, well, I say the top 3, the 7, the 51, and the 1 all did exactly the same thing.
And so I would expect the 00 or Cole Custer to make some big moves here on the start and be in the lead fairly quickly, I would assume. Now, the 7's a solid car, so we'll see how that plays out for him, but I still think it's still newer tires. He's probably going to get around with a fast car.
By the way, keep an eye. Brandon Jones, too many men over the wall, so they had an issue on their pit stop. We'll follow his progress. Right now, our scoring monitor is showing him 2 laps down. And hey, when we get back around, Sun, what kind of an impact is that as it sets?
Looks like it's almost out of the way now, but I remember running here a long time ago when we used to run these night races.
Yep.
His good memories are coming back to me right now. We're running at nighttime in Fontana. It's awesome. But the windshield gets pitted so bad. The sun is usually really bad, but now that you see it's behind the grandstands.
So there you have it. Brandon Jones with some sort of a pit road issue over the wall with too many men. Definitely going to cost him some time there. Top 3, as mentioned, on older tires for the restart of Allgaier, Mayer, and Clements. Green flag back in the air. Custer initially pulls down to the inside, 3 wide, gets a better launch than the 51 car in front of him, and will try to get to the race lead in turns 1 and 2 on Allgaier, who has 5 lap older tires than everybody who just pitted during the stage break. A lot of 3 wide racing off the exit of turn number 2. Custer easily clear and into the lead in a hurry. Austin Hill up to 3rd, right behind Allgaier, followed by Daniel Hemrick and Riley Herbst. Field exiting their way off turn 4. Big moment for Sam Mayers. He had to lift. Got sandwiched between John Hunter Nemechek and Sheldon Creed. Lost a handful of positions, and already Mayer has lost about 10 spots following the restart. He's back to 13th and probably going to continue to fade on those few lap older tires. Austin Hill on the inside will clear the 7 car off the exit of turn 2 of Justin Allgaier. Had a complete slide job, kind of went down to the middle lane and let the tires go to work. A lot of cars bottoming out following the pit stop. You can definitely tell the lower air pressures earlier in the run are causing that to happen, and as the lights are coming on in the racetrack with the skies getting darker as well, maybe making those sparks a lot brighter than what they would be otherwise. Sheldon Creed battling a loose car. 2 corners in a row off turn 4. Got just a hair sideways. Showing when Sam Mayer may have gotten loose. It didn't look like Sheldon Creed made contact with him, but was all over that left rear corner panel when they were 4 wide. Not a lot of room for error there. Great job by Mayer hanging on to it. Oh, we got a turn! Hard into the inside wall goes Sheldon Creed. Oh, man, it looked like he was going to hit a lot harder than he did. He actually backed it into the wall. Very gradually, for the most part, making a great save. Josh Berry went to make a move off turn 2. Creed went to block and turned himself. And I thought for a minute he was heading head on at full speed into the inside wall. He kept his foot in it and he steered out of it for the most part. He did back it in pretty hard. But typically when you see a car going that fast towards the inside wall, they're not able to get that car turned the other way around. What a for the most part, again, saved by Sheldon Creed. After what was a bad move where he went to block Barry all the way down to the apron, he blocked Barry and there was contact. He obviously wasn't clear and just turned himself. Too aggressive of a move mid-pack by Sheldon Creed. Crunched the back of that race car, which is not going to be good with how aero-dependent this racetrack is. Could have been a lot more damage. I could have taken him out of the race. He should be able to continue, but unfortunately for Creed, though, that damage is definitely going to cost him, you would have to imagine. I kind of missed the call on that. I thought he was... It's amazing how much he was able to correct the car in the other direction to not hit nose first, but it looked for a minute that he was just going to pound the inside wall at a high-rated speed off turn 2, and he did not, thankfully. Great enough car control, but it was a bad move which caused that to happen. And they're going to have to come back down and fix those hood flaps because they came up out of the race car and they're tethered underneath the hood of the car itself, so they should be able to get him back in. He hasn't completely lost him. Probably just trying to get him back on the track to keep him from going a lap down so he can remain on the lead lap. Jeff Curry, thanks for tuning in. Team Penske fan, also welcome into the stream. Rylan Mangan, also welcome. So Sheldon Creed kind of turned himself, not kind of, he did turn himself off the exit of turn 2. Trying to make a block on Barry. That was just an ill-advised move. This early in the race, he had a little over 100 to go. We're still early in stage 2, and he tried to make a block on Josh Berry. He obviously wasn't clear. Not only it was a bad block, but he went all the way to the apron of the back straightaway to block him. And a result that not only he tried to do that to block him, but he also did that to block him and he wasn't clear. Seen moves from Sheldon Creed in those kind of a situation before a lot last season in the Xfinity Series. And remember, he missed the playoffs in that 2-car for Richard Childress Racing last year. Had some solid runs towards the end of the season where he was competing for wins. Wasn't able to quite get the job done. And kind of proved the talent he has. But he has made a lot of ill-advised mistakes throughout the course of his rookie season last year, and now it seems like that is kind of growing over into year 2, which is not typically something you would want to see from a driver. You can kind of give them a little bit of a pass in their first year, but you get into year 2, you can't be making mistakes like that in general, and whatever pass he may have gotten before can't be a good look on him after pulling that kind of a move here early in this race. Josh Berry is currently scored in 9th, so they were probably battling in the back half of the top 10 for position. I would imagine right around 9th place where Berry is at. But again, Creed will remain on the lead lap here. Brandon Jones going to get the free pass. He was 2 laps down. He's down to 1 lap down, getting 1 lap back with this caution. Not sure why he lost 2 laps. I don't know if it was a lap penalty for having too many men over the wall. I don't know what the case was, but somehow Brandon Jones had a pit road penalty. Not sure if that's the reason he was 2 laps down or not, but he did have a penalty nonetheless, and then it ended up being 2 laps down to the restart.
Well, in fairness, I asked you guys, what role does the sun play after the shot got down below the billboards and you couldn't really see the sun, so.
I don't know. Well, here it is again. This is a good angle. Josh Berry coming off the top with some momentum. Goes to make a 3-wide move. Sheldon decides to try to block it. It just doesn't work.
We've had a few drivers come down the pit lane. Sheldon Creed obviously spent a lot of time there. What's the latest, Regan?
Well, we see Sheldon Creed. They're getting that race car patched up right now. Some issues with it, some tape that they're trying to get on holes. but more importantly, the 26 car Casgrello, when that green flag came out on that most recent restart, a fuel pressure issue on that car, a good break for them that the caution came right back out again immediately afterwards. And the 10 car of Austin Dillon, keep an eye on him on the restarts here. A little bit of trouble getting that car into gear right now. The difference between the Cup car and obviously Xfinity car and different feelings there. A little work with that. And Ryan and Joey, he's having another problem in the car with his helmet fogging up. I don't know if that means it's too hot or too cold right now.
Fogging up, you might wonder if he just doesn't have any air going to his helmet.
Yeah, these helmets, they click close and they're pretty vacuum sealed tight. And for me, when it's cold outside and you're breathing hot air, it fogs your inside of your visor up. So we have little helmet fans that actually will usually fix that problem, but maybe he doesn't want to run it because it's so cold outside. He doesn't want to freeze his head.
I don't know, I choose vision and cold. So if I had to pick.
There's our Ford onboard camera with Cole Custer.
And you see his helmet vent up top there, and it blows down. There you go, leaning on the telestrator here. Yeah, and then it blows down right in front of his eyes, and that's right onto his shield, which helps keep his shield clear of fog.
So Ryan telestrates information about what's happening in the race. Joey just puts numbers on highlighting his career success.
I tell you, I don't know why I have so many friends.
So now, you have Allgaier restarting fourth. He's on those handful of lap older tires. But now we've had a cycle. You run a handful of laps, you cycle the tires, those guys with stickers. It kind of equals them out a little bit. So we'll see how Allgaier is able to hang now that everyone around him has some more laps on their stuff. And I think that always kind of levels the playing field a little bit.
So Cole Custer about to lead the field to the green. He'll be on the outside of the front row. Austin Hill down low. And we'll have another restart here to stage number 2 as the green flag is back in the air. Allgaier giving a big push behind the 00 on the outside. Couple of cars fanning out down on the bottom, one of which is the 16 car of Chandler Smith as he dives underneath of Josh Berry and Brett Moffitt into turns 1 and 2. Custer easily clear off the exit of turn 2, followed by Hill and Allgaier, single file in the top 3. 3 wide for 4th place behind them, though, of Daniel Hemrick, John Hunter Nemechek, Riley Herbst. Hemrick easily pulls clear into the corner. He had a massive shot from behind by the 25 car on the outside of the back straightaway, which ended up propelling him clear of both race cars as well as Moffitt. Moffitt, though, went to the bottom in turns 3 and 4, trying to get by the 11, and that allowed the 20 car to get by on the outside. Moffitt loses a couple positions on the front stretch before hopping back in line. And now Chandler Smith making a dive bomb underneath him, and I believe Sam Mayer as well in the mix, 3 wide. Sammy Smith towards the outside lane. 16 kind of pinching the one off. Riley Herbst almost making contact with the wall, and the 25 car of Moffitt, who slid up, nearly sideswiping him off the exit of turn 2. Herbst may have had to jump out of the throttle late off the exit of the corner. Sammy Smith down on the white line with the left side tires, getting pinched by the 98 as he tries to make a pass on him for position as well. Sam Mayer way down low, even off the exit of turn 4, very low exit there, and drops back in line on the top. He's outside the top 15 now. Back to 15th. I don't know what happened in the middle of the corner there, but he lost a ton of spots. Riley Herbst continuously losing spots off this restart. He was in 4th at the end of stage 1, and now he's just losing spots on this restart specifically. Is back to 9th. Brett Moffitt just got back around him, and now Sammy Smith on the challenge for that 9th place position. Top 10 right now. Cole Custer in the race lead. Austin Hill 2nd. John Hunter Nemechek 3rd. Justin Allgaier is 4th. Daniel Hemrick in 5th. Josh Berry 6th. Austin Dillon 7th. Make that Sammy Smith 7th, Austin Dillon 8th, Chandler Smith 9th, and Brett Moffitt rounds out the top 10 right now. 19 laps to go yet in stage number 2. And we have about 99 laps to go in the race entirely. Custer out to a 0.4 of a second lead over Hill. Custer dominating the early going to the race, already won stage 1, and he's led the most laps with 25 laps led and counting so far early in stage 2. And remember, he is running full-time in that 00 for SHR in the Xfinity Series this season. Definitely one of the championship contenders. Never won an Xfinity title in his first full-time run at it. Finished second back-to-back years in 2018 and 2019. But even when he's making a handful of starts, when he was running Cup Series full-time for a few seasons at SHR, would drop down to the Xfinity. He was a competitor. He was somebody that could compete for the win at any given moment. Won a race at Auto Club last season. And trying to win this year. It would be his third career Xfinity win at the racetrack if he can sweep. Well, I would sweep the weekend, I guess, with my picks. But as far as Custer, looking at trying to get the win for himself this weekend, get that early lock into the playoffs. About a tenth quicker than Austin Hill that last lap. Make that 2/10 quicker, a 41.6 versus a 41.8 by Hill. Fastest laps of the race. For instance, Cole Custer, who was the lead car in the clean air. His best lap was on lap 43, a 40.738. It is currently lap 54, so after just 11 laps, he has gone from a lap time of a 40.738 to a 42.015. So that just goes to show how much he is falling off. That race car specifically has fallen off about a second and a half. Problems right now for Justin Allgaier making an unscheduled stop.
In the stage. What's up, Josh?
Right now coming into pit, and the team is going to need to make some adjustments, get those tires early. And we heard him earlier in the race talk about the fact that they were kind of gambling and he wasn't going full percent. They have a plan, and let's see if this is part of their plan, guys.
I don't see this as being part of a plan at all. This is an unscheduled pit stop. Something he must have felt is wrong.
I have a loose wheel, thought a tire was going down.
He was running fourth. We've gotten a report now that he did have a vibration.
Oh, and he stalled it.
Yeah, he's lost a lap, and now this brings into question, who's going to be in line for that free pass, because his teammate, Brandon Jones, was there. Now he loses a lap. We'll monitor that situation. All of this happening with 15 laps to go in stage 2.
Crazy, Allgaier was hanging in there. I mean, he was fourth. He was staying with those guys who had a little bit fresher tires than him. Thought his car was good, and just something like that. It was an unfortunate situation for those guys.
I mean, that's what NASCAR racing is about these days, right? You just got to be perfect all the time, whether you're the driver, the crew chief calling the race, or the pit crew changing the tires. You cannot afford to make mistakes, especially in short races like this, right? I mean, I get it's 150 laps and he has time to recover possibly, but you're giving up points, you're giving up track position. It's going to take all day to get back up there.
Hemrick back to ninth, Regan.
Damon Hemrick still struggling with the front end of that race car as he's been sliding back slightly since the restart. Team checked with him, said it's very tight still, but they also checked with him on that leg. Remember, the right leg that is injured? He said right now it's just comfortable. He's basically playing through the pain. Said it doesn't feel great, but it's as comfortable as it can be.
Yeah, I mean, just such a tough situation for him. The injury happened while he was working out late in the week, and so you come here, no practice, no qualifying, really no opportunity to try and adapt. I mean, he's doing it on the fly, and he's had a fast race car from 35th to the top 5, and now riding 9th, but going to lose that position, it would appear, to the 98 of Riley Hurst.
He's really been falling off here the last few laps. That car's really tanking on him here the last, it seems like 10 to 12 laps or so. You can see they're just stacked up behind him, one after another. Here comes Reddick underneath him now.
Yeah, and hey, Sheldon Creed right behind him too. Let's give a call to them involved in that crash. He stays on the lead lap inside the top 15. That is really, really impressive.
Yeah, Creed up to 12th place right now, making a pass on Brett Moffitt for position. After just spinning, bringing out the last caution, we still have another stage of racing, obviously, after this. 80 laps will be scheduled in the final stage. That'll actually be 10 laps longer than the final stage of the Cup race earlier on today. 12 laps to go right now in stage number 2. We'll take our first break of the race. You're watching the Production Alliance Group 300 live on KRC here on a Sunday night. While that's going on, I'm going to... I don't have anything playing in my ear right now as far as feedback, so I need to log on to Hulu on my laptop and get that going right now. I'll get the leaderboard back on there as soon as I possibly can. Alrighty. Should be good to go now. There we go. Got the leaderboard back on there for you guys. Kyle Busch going to do good RCR this season. Well, definitely off to a good start. Both teams looking really fast out of the gate, really. Even Austin Dillon finished second in the Clash. He had a top 10 today also. Looking to get both teams in the playoffs for the second consecutive year. And maybe Dillon could do it on consistency. Remember, he had to win the regular season finale at Daytona last season to get in on a Hail Mary towards the end of the season. Missed that big wreck in the closing laps and was able to survive and advance. Custer has grown his lead out to 3.3 seconds over John Hunter Nemechek, who is now in second place. He just passed Austin Hill a few laps ago, and then Sammy Smith is up to third now for Joe Gibbs Racing, also making a pass on Austin Hill for position. 9 laps to go currently in Stage 2. And the race is on Fox Sports 2, for anybody wondering. Joshua Brady, welcome into the stream. And we have caution right now with 9 laps to go in the stage, by the way. Caution flag is out. Not sure exactly what for. Josh Berry seems to be pretty slow on the back straightaway. I'm not sure if maybe he had spun. Fox still on their side-by-side commercial break. Looks like the right front tire maybe have went down. The lettering is rubbed off of both right side tires, so definitely Berry made contact with the wall, bringing out a caution with 8 laps to go in stage number 2. So Justin Allgaier will get the free pass after making that unscheduled pit stop. So Brandon Jones still stuck a lap down for right now. He was 2 laps down, got 1 lap back with that Sheldon Creed spin, and now still stuck a lap down, but likely going to get back on the lead lap at the end of Stage 2 because we will get a late stage restart in just like we did towards the end of Stage 1 in a 4-lap shootout there. Should have right around 4 or 5 laps to go on the restart to this stage. Now pit road will open this time by. We'll see who may pit, sacrificing some stage points, who may not, to save some tires to the end of the race. Remember, John Hunter Nemechek sacrificed a potential shot at a stage win. He was out in front. Cole Custer never actually passed Nemechek for the lead. Nemechek had to get through traffic here in stage 2. He finally got up to second, but was 3 seconds off the lead. Well, this caution will bunch him right back up with the 0-0. We'll see what the strategy will be like going forward for these teams, though. Again, knowing the stage break will be on the horizon. Yeah, I only give you guys ad breaks when, obviously, there's ad breaks on TV, too. I have to do it. I have to do it to get paid. I know people ask me, why, but I wouldn't be able to do the live commentary streams for you guys if, it wasn't for me getting paid on the side, obviously. So I got a couple cars on pit road. Josh Berry is in, obviously, after the incident there. I think Ryan Sieg's in as well.
He was involved in that car. It got very loose just prior to that. As the spin happened, he told the guy, "Sorry, guys, it just got out from underneath me."
He comes down here and gets the tires. I want to go back and clarify. We were talking about Sheldon Creed. He's had an unbelievable recovery, going to be in position here to get some stage points. One of the reasons they've had their recovery, as we talked about during the break, they got those tires. But in any event, really, really good job by the 2 bunch of making something out of a very difficult situation. The driver from RCR is 8th right now.
Super impressive. He should be in the infield care center right now.
Yes.
He's racing still. Impressive.
Yeah, he's got Joey Logano had a great point there. Again, Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano in the Fox Sports booth with Adam Alexander for this Xfinity race today. I think they were both in there for the Daytona race last weekend, too, if I'm not mistaken. I know Cindric was in the ARCA race booth. All the Penske guys doing the broadcasting duties in the lower series. Even after they had to race earlier on today. That is the double duty is necessarily for, say, Austin Dillon or Ross Chastain, who both had top 10s in the Cup race earlier today. Going for 700 miles worth of racing today between them. Tyler Reddick, who was also in the Cup race, is running this race as well. But remember, he had crashed out in Stage 2, so we didn't actually even get to the halfway mark in the Cup race earlier on. So he's probably looking more towards a 500 miles worth of racing throughout today's action. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty impressive, honestly, for Austin Dillon and Ross Chastain to do this. And the fact that they both had top 10s in the first race, Chastain hasn't really ran too well in this Xfinity Series race. But shout out to Austin Dillon, currently in the top 5 and 5th right now. And he was my original pick to win this race today. Won the Xfinity race in 2016 at Auto Club. And I was going to pick him to win. The reason why I didn't is because he was running the Cup race today. He was my pick last night, but the race never got started, so I changed my pick to Cole Custer for today just because of that reason, really, was the only reason. And Austin Dillon, running top 10 both races, but if he can win this Xfinity race after running and finishing in the top 10 earlier in the Cup race today as well, what an impressive performance at Auto Club this weekend for Dillon, just to simply do that on the same day. Literally, I mean, by the time the Cup race started today, I think the drop of the green flag was 3:48 Eastern Standard Time. He is going to have raced 700 miles at Auto Club within about a 6.5 hour radius by the time this race is done. From the time the Cup race started to the time this race is done, it's probably going to be right around 6.5 hours, assuming that we have a little bit over an hour of this race yet to go. Cup race today timed in at 3 hours and 8 minutes, for anybody wondering. About average, 2.5 to 3 hours typically is the range, especially for the 400-mile races. 400-mile races and less. Brendan McCallion, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully I said your last name correctly. Appreciate that comment. Got about 90 people watching right now. Green flag back in the air. 5 laps to go to decide Stage 2 and who will all get the stage points here, as well as the playoff point for winning the stage. Custer on the outside lane. That's been his lane in the preferred lane by any of the leaders all day today in the Xfinity and Cup race, but it seems to be working more on the Xfinity Series side of things here tonight. 5 wide, nearly in the middle of the corner. Definitely 4 wide. Austin Hill got loose with the 16 car underneath him. Almost made contact with Sheldon Creed, who was on the outside of the 21. And Herbst was able to clear all 3 of them on the outside up near the wall in the 4th lane. From the 4th lane all the way down to the white line. And 3 and 4 now to try to protect on the 16. And while simultaneously working to the inside of Parker Kligerman for 5th. Can't quite get there. And now back on the defense with Smith trying to challenge behind. Custer has about a 3-car length clearance over 2nd place going into turns 1 and 2 with 4 to go at Stage 2. John Hunter Nemechek trying to challenge him here. First time we're seeing the 00 and the 20 go head-to-head for the race lead at the front of the field. And Sammy Smith having a pretty impressive run in the early going. Rookie for Joe Gibbs Racing in the 18, running full-time. Ran part-time at the end of last season. Had some outstanding performances. I think he ended up 3rd at Watkins Glen, if I remember correctly. Was his best finish there. Be interesting to see how he does on road courses later this season, but having a good run on an oval, just 18 years of age is Smith. Nemechek is challenging on Custer, seemed to be a little bit quicker than Cole that last lap. About a 1/10 of a second quicker according to our lap times on the bottom of our screen. I guess the left side of the screen for you guys. Turns 1 and 2, it seems as if both drivers staying in that outside lane near the wall. One car got loose off the exit of turn 4, and that was Chandler Smith again. Turn 2, rather. Having a handful as he was underneath a car who was on his outside. I believe it was Sheldon Creed in the 2. Parker Kligerman up inside the top 5 right now as well, still hanging on to 5th. Had some stage points at the end of stage 1, looking to maximize on even more stage points here late stage 2 off that restart. Justin Allgaier has raced his way back in the top 10 after getting the free pass. He has already gotten his way up to 10th place. Now quickly to the inside of the 16 car of Chandler Smith for 9th. Austin Hill, who restarted on the inside of the front row, has fallen all the way back to about 12th place. Make that 13th as Kaz Grotlo will get around him on the back straight as well. It's unbelievable how much that 21's been free falling. It went from having a solid night so far, going for him all the way until that restart, and now falling way back and continues to free fall. It's 3 wide middle with a couple cars around him right now, one on the inside and one on the outside. Still battling for around 11th place, but in no position to get any stage points here unless something miraculous happens in front of him on the final lap of the stage. Nemechek still sitting 2 car lengths behind Custer as they head into turns 3 and 4. It's the final lap of stage 2. Custer trying to sweep the stages like Ross Chastain did in stage 1 and 2 in the Cup race earlier on today. And he is definitely going to be able to hold clear. So, late charge there off turn 4 by Nemechek, but a block down to the bottom in the tri-oval successful for Custer. Cole Custer is going to win stage number 2 at Auto Club. John Hunter Nemechek will end up a close 2nd. Sammy Smith 3rd. Austin Dillon 4th. And Parker Kligerman rounds out the top 5 in stage 2. Justin Allgaier in 6th. Sam Mayer 7th. Sheldon Creed, after spinning earlier in the stage, still came back to finish 8th, even with the damage to the back of his race car. Riley Herbst 9th. And Chandler Smith rounds out the top 10. So considering most cars stayed out there to get those stage points at the front of the field at the end of stage 2, with that caution late in the stage, everybody will be pitting on the other side of the commercial break. Brandon Jones will get back on the lead lap with the free pass. And again, the only driver out is Greg Goulding. He blew a right front tire midway through stage 1. 35 cars still in the lead lap once Brandon Jones gets the free pass here. Still unaware exactly why he fell 2 laps down on pit road, but whatever the case is, whether it was because of the pit road penalty or something just completely different, maybe they had to adjust on the car or fix, he will be back on the lead lap, and if he's like any of the other Junior Motorsport Chevrolets, he should be able to race his way back in the top 10 here eventually, as Allgaier and Mayer were able to do pretty quickly on that last restart, especially Allgaier, who got the free pass to caution before that and quickly got up to 6th. In 4 laps, he got up to 6th place. Now, he did have fresher tires than everybody else. That is worth noting. So, he will more than likely be staying out of the pits to start this stage as a result. But I would imagine everybody else in the top 10 will end up coming on in. Taking a second ad break here during this race. I usually try to shoot for like 4 to 5 during the Cup race. Like 3 to 4 during Xfinity and truck races. So we'll take our second break here during the stage 2 break, but should have pit stops on the other side. You guys will get to listen into that as usual. Hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Appreciate the live coverage throughout both of today's races. I didn't see what we finished off on likes. I think we did hit 100 for the Cup race earlier today. We were close. I really hope we did. I'll check real quick. Let's see here. Yep, 101. Make that 102. 102. We might be able to have more likes for this Xfinity race. It's kind of sad, but at the same time, we may do so. Up to 58 likes right now, and we still have about half the race to go. So be sure to hit that like button. We're pacing to have more likes for tonight's Xfinity coverage. So appreciate you guys tuning in here late on a Sunday night. Not typical start time for the Xfinity series. Not used to running them on a Sunday in general, let alone Sunday at 8 o'clock. I'll show the diecast off after pit stops. Our new tradition of showing 124 scale NASCAR diecast off at the end of stage 2. Car's on the back straightaway right now. But it is an Xfinity car. It was a then Busch Series car, so it's older, but it is an Xfinity car nonetheless. Now it's the Xfinity Series. Can't think of what year this car is. I want to say 2004. I think it's 2004. I don't have too many Xfinity diecasts. I showed one off last week. Can't remember which one. Oh, it was Dale Jr. Oreo number 3, 2002 diecast. And then I got this one. I think I only have like 2 more outside of this, so I'll figure something out down the line. Here's the field taking their stops.
Bit of life for him right now, just a little bit too tight on corner exit of turns 3 and 4, but they're going to leave it alone. They're expecting this track to continue freeing up some as it continues to cool off. And the 2 car is Sheldon Creed. That car had been loose all night long up until that spin that we saw and the damage that he got that they had to repair. Right now, just a little on the tight side. Josh?
Well, Cole Custer in the double zeros led the most laps so far. He said he fired off really well, but as the run went along, he began to lose the right rear, so they're going to try and make an adjustment to help him out. As far as the 20 of John Hunter Nemechek, just his second stop of the day. He said he was a little loose on exit, making it tough for him to get back onto the throttle, guys.
First off pit road, Sammy Smith, the 18, getting it done.
How about that? Sammy Smith winning the race off pit road in the 18 car for Joe Gibbs Racing. He was 3rd at the end of stage 2. Custer ended up losing potentially 3 spots, leaving pit road after winning the first 2 stages. John Hunter Nemechek lost some spots on pit road as well there. It looks as if Sheldon Creed stayed out of the pits. Austin Hill may have stayed out of the pits as well. Either that or they just flat out beat the double zero out of the pits, which could have been the case. Waiting to see the official running order once everything shakes back up again. Queuing up Jay Allgaier.
Try again. Allgaier, Logano in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, buddy, go ahead.
Well, you've had a very eventful day. We think your car is fast, but it seems like you've been off strategy, doing different things. You've green flag pit stop, still getting stage points. You've been all over the place. You happy to be on the same schedule as everybody else now?
Well, you know, sometimes you got to be a little different. Makes life a little more interesting, more fun. But so far, really proud of everybody here on our brand professional agricultural 70th anniversary car. Just got speed, you know, and we're able to manage the traffic the way we want to and do the pit stops the way we want to. Just seems like we can't get ahead tonight. So, you know, we know that if we can get up here and get some clean air, I think we got plenty of speed to be able to go race these guys and for a win. So, like I said, proud of everybody at Junior Motorsports, Chevrolet, Education Department. We're trying to be as fast as Xfinity 10G, but we're not quite there yet.
Well, it seems like you're right. What Larry Mack says, you just follow the leader if you follow the leader. So you're doing different things. You can't be better if you don't do things differently. So you're definitely winning the different thing today.
Amen to that, buddy. Have a great day.
Hey, I'm never going to live down that I called out Larry Mack on that. I'm also never going to live down that I jumped right in the camera shot when you were talking. I mean, I'm trying to get the running order coming off of turn 4. I jump right up in the window, and I mean, Blaney's about to lose it over here laughing at me.
Even the most professional people mess up every time.
I mean, he's smart. I get it. He wants some FaceTime.
That's it.
It makes us feel better when you mess up, because we do it all the time. So.
All right, so hey, let's go. This is what I was checking on. Where is everybody in the running order? Among them, John Hunter Nemechek, as you documented, Ryan, he had some problems on pit road. So let's go back and check out what happened here with his stop. And Josh, you were down there covering it, so did you see anything?
And as you guys see, an issue on the left side of the car with the jack, man. He had trouble getting that up, and that really cost him on pit road as he came out 18th after going in second, guys.
Yeah, it looks like there's an issue with the jack. You see him, he jacks it up, it seeps down, he jacked it up again, it seeps back down again. An issue with the jack.
By the way, Josh Berry stayed out. He last pitted at lap 63, so he's got some older tires, but he's got track position, and as you guys have talked about. those older tires give you the high lane. That's what he does. Sheldon Creed goes with him. Sammy Smith, who was the first off pit road, goes to the inside. He'll restart on the front row.
I tell you, I did not expect this race to turn into so much of a strategy race with tires. All these cautions and stuff have really changed up the game as we go into the third stage here. We've been saying it though, Blaney, that 18 car, Sammy Smith.
Yeah, he's going to have clean air, hopefully, if he gets a good restart.
The car's a hoss.
Yeah.
Young driver. 18 years old, right?
Yep. He is, yeah, he's 18. Hadn't turned 19 yet. Johnstown, Iowa. Now our Toyota top performers. So you got the 18-year-old from Johnston. Kaz Grala's up there driving the 26. He's fought through some adversity tonight, driving for Sam Hunt Racing. Tyler Reddick, the second entry for Sam in the 24, is 13th, doing double duty today. Joe Graff Jr. driving for Gibbs for the first time in his career. And I'll tell you who's going to be the driver to watch on this restart and as the run continues. John Hunter Nemechek. Got to come from behind after the pit issues. We'll see if he can get it done. And also Cole Custer. He lost some positions on pit road as well. We'll restart right there in the back portion of the top 5.
Yeah, and you brought Nemechek. He's back in 17th with a fast race car as well. So they'll get back up there, I'm sure. May take some time. Going to need a little caution for sure.
Heading to the restart zone, Josh Berry, who was the only car that stayed out, will lead the field to the green. He's on old tires, does not take off well on the outside, and that is going to allow the 18 of Sammy Smith to try to go to the bottom. Austin Hill, 3 wide to the inside, trying to get underneath Smith into turn 1. He's going to be able to do it, but he's not going to be able to clear. Still door-to-door is the 18 and the 21 off the exit of turn 2. But they have cleared Josh Berry, who is now in 3rd place. Hill is on the inside lane. Berry drafts up behind the 18 of Smith, and Sammy Smith leads for the first time tonight at Auto Club. Cole Custer restarted in 5th place, ended up losing a couple spots initially on that bottom lane. Down in turns 1 and 2, he's stuck behind a handful of race cars now as he slides in 7th on the inside of the 98 of Riley Herbst. Drafting closer to the 16 car, but still a few cars down on the bottom, and now he's going to make a 3rd lane on the inside. Make it 4 wide in turns 1 and 2. Will they make it off the exit of the corner? Yes, they will. Custer lifted to kind of let everybody else go in front of him. Played it smart, but in doing so, he's going to lose another spot on the outside lane to Parker Kligerman. And Allgaier down low, challenging, will get by Cole Custer as well. Custer has fallen outside the top 10. And John Nemechek, who had a slow stop, as you heard from moments ago, issues with the jack, dropped him outside of, well, from 2nd at the end of stage 2 all the way back to 17th. Nemechek has just passed Cole Custer for position. So Custer back in traffic for the first time today. And Nemechek having to come back from traffic for the 2nd time. Those are the 2 most leadingest drivers in this race as far as laps led. And remember, Custer won the first 2 stages of the race, but now it's Sammy Smith down in front. And Josh Berry on a few lap older tires still hanging in there in 2nd. Him and Sheldon Creed, who made contact, which caused Creed to spin, nearly crashing out of the race, but made a good enough of a save to keep that car in it. And despite the damage to the rear bumper of the race car, he is still wheeling that race car up at the front of the field. Creed sits in 3rd right behind Berry right now. So an unbelievable drive by Sheldon Creed. And Josh Berry, even with the damage on the right side of his car after having an issue getting up into the wall, causing a late caution in stage 2, has also gathered himself back up. Austin Hill, who fell outside the top 10 on that long run towards the end of stage 2, was staying out on those older tires. He is back in the top 10, currently in 6th. Challenging for position with the 16 and the 98. Runs a much wider line, not all the way up near the outside, but with Chandler Smith going down to the apron, trying to get to the inside of Riley Herbst and not being able to do so. That's going to allow Austin Hill to get a massive run in the front stretch. We'll see if Hill will make the dive bomb into 1 or 2. This is Chandler Smith's first ever race at Auto Club. Remember, the Truck Series does not race here and hasn't raced here in a handful of years. So when Chandler Smith had raced full-time in the Truck Series for KBM, he was not able to race at this racetrack specifically, and without practice or qualifying coming into the race this weekend as well. Absolutely zero track time, so credit to Chandler Smith for running it fit despite never having a lap on this track ever in his life. Maybe in the sim racing game, but not necessarily in real life. NASCAR Fox going with a little crank it up.
Laps to go. 6 different drivers have led this race. A couple of them from Joe Gibbs Racing, and right now it's the youngster Sammy Smith. 8 laps out front, and behind him, rivalry renewed. Josh Berry, Sheldon Creed. They had a run-in earlier, and now they're battling for the runner-up position.
Creed made the pass initially on Berry, but now Berry trying the crossover on the other end of the track. Down to the bottom goes the 8 into turns 3 and 4. Half his car down on the apron. Creed in the middle lane in the center of the corner. And Sammy Smith on the outside. Actually, looks like Berry gets to the inside of the 18. Now side drafts him. Sheldon Creed trying to go up the middle. 3 wide for the race lead at the start-finish line. And Sheldon Creed is going to clear the 18. I think the 18's blowing up. The 18 of Sammy Smith is having an overheating issue. There might have been trash on the grill of his race car or something, but his car started overheating. That's why he was dropping well off the lead. Debris is off the grill now, and even with the water spewing out of the race car, he's dive bombing underneath Josh Berry. He'll move his way up to second. Now side drafts the Sheldon Creed 2 car for the race lead. Down into turns 3 and 4, still side by side. Justin Allgaier's now closing the gap in 4th place, followed by Riley Herbst. Smith back to the race lead off of turn 4. What a battle all of a sudden for the lead with 65 laps to go. Creed not done yet. Looking low. Spinner off turn 4. Brandon Jones is around. Caution's out. Just as that battle was getting good, the caution flag is out, and there is damage onto the right front fender of Brandon Jones's race car. It looked like he had it saved, but when he came into the wet grass in the infield from all the rain from yesterday, it just tore up the right front fender of his car. It looked like he kind of turned himself. He wasn't clear of the 24 car of Tyler Reddick, and when he moved up to try to block, that caused him to get sideways. He kept it off the wall, but ended up turning down into the infield grass, and unfortunately that tore up the right front splitter of the race car. What a battle for the race lead, though, prior to that caution. I wish that caution didn't come out because that was getting good. I think they caught up to Sammy Smith, who was kind of pulling away there for a little bit because there might have been some trash on the grill of Sammy Smith's race car because he had to pull out of line, get the debris off of his grill once the leaders got by. And yes, there was trash on the grill because there was water spewed out of the hood of the race car for Sammy Smith, so he was kind of holding back, letting these guys get around him, which they did. He actually dropped back to 3rd, and as soon as the debris fell off, he went right back for the lead and got it on the other end of the track in 3 and 4 again the following lap. What a great job by Sammy Smith, and a great job not to have that motor blow, and I'm sure this caution will help cool the engine off just a little bit more as well, which is much needed for the 18 team. The caution is out with 64 laps to go. Right front tire down. Both right side tires down on the 19 car now. Under this caution. Justin White, thanks for tuning in. Justin's at the race. Awesome, man. Hopefully you're enjoying. Stay warm. Cooler night for a race. Anywhere in the country, let alone in Los Angeles. By the way, they did not do a crank it up during the Cup race earlier today. What's with that? I always let you guys listen into it. I did not have that. At least they had it for the Xfinity series, but they did not have a crank it up for the Cup series earlier. I don't understand. They had 2 in the Daytona 500 last week, which I also thought was weird. Maybe they thought because they did 2 last week, they did none this week. I don't know. Whatever the case was. We got some cars on pit road. Sammy Smith is in, as well as Josh Berry, John Hunter Nemechek, and others.
If they wanted to or not in terms of the track position. Ultimately, Tyler Moyer decided to go ahead and make the pit stop. That car very fast. Remember, older tires on that whole run. Josh?
Speaking of fast cars, 18-year-old Sammy Smith in the 18 has been making a great run here. His only complaint, just a little free when he's out front, but he said otherwise the car is really good. They're not going to make any adjustments, just going to get some tires and fuel.
Here's something to think about with some of these guys that made pit stops. They had an extra set because they had stayed out earlier when others pitted. So they played the game a little bit differently. Parker Kligerman on that list, the 2 guys you saw in from Joe Gibbs Racing, Smith and Nemechek, and also the one of Sam Mayer. So not surprising that they come and take advantage of that set of tires.
Yeah, so Sam Mayer also pit. And Parker Kligerman was also one of drivers that were inside the top 10. So 4 drivers in the top 10 hit pit road during this caution. They'll use up another set of tires. I'm not sure exactly how many these teams had to start, but whatever the case is, they're using them. There's quite a few drivers that obviously stayed out, so it'll be interesting to see how those drivers will bring it up from the back of the pack on this restart. Well, we've seen tires matter all race weekend long, and this Xfinity race is definitely no exception. I should say all day long. There was no other racing until today. All the on-track activity ended up getting washed out yesterday. Just over 100 people watching right now. Hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you haven't already. So far, we are at 74 likes on the stream. Let's see if we can get that to 100. We had 102 for the Cup race earlier today, so we'll see if we can break that. We had a lot more people watching in that race than what we have right now, too. So, appreciate you guys hitting that like button. All you loyal fans of the channel. I did not show off the diecast at the end of Stage 2, by the way. We were busy at the time. So here is the diecast. It is a 2004 Kevin Harvick Reese's Chevrolet. Richard Childress Racing, of course, the number 21. Same car, Austin Hill, of course, driving tonight, winning at Daytona last week. But wanted to show this Harvick scheme. Of course, again, it's Harvick's final season in NASCAR. I actually have quite a few Harvick diecasts because he's got like some of the greatest schemes, I think. But this is the second one. Last week I had his 2007 Daytona 500 winning car for the 500. But today, showing you this car because it's an Xfinity race. And he is a California native, of course. Just ran his final race at his home track. Had a 5th place finish earlier today as well. So congrats to him on that top 5. And yeah, here's one of my favorite Busch Series paint schemes of all time. This, the Dale Jr. Oreos / Ritz car. I showed you the Oreo paint scheme last week. Those are probably my favorite Busch Series schemes / Xfinity schemes of all time. So when I saw this car, I definitely wanted it. We actually, for those of you that know, we did a throwback NASCAR 05 Chase for the Cup playthrough. And you guys voted for me to race as Kevin Harvick for the Busch Series Championship. And he had this car in that game because it was a 2004 season. So this is the exact car that we won the championship with in that season. So that's pretty cool too. But I can't remember where I got. I think I got this at Bristol last year, if I'm not mistaken. That Jimmy Johnson diecast, I don't remember where I got that. I either got that at Atlanta last year or Bristol for the dirt race. This I got during the Bristol night race in 2021. This was one of my earliest diecasts that I got to start my collection. Because that night is when I started the 124 scale diecast collection. Keegan was hiding. I was hiding. Jennifer Holmes, thanks for tuning in. Kevin Harvick drove that car at Bristol in the Nationwide Series. Yeah, he drove that car for a lot of races. Brandon Miller also raced that race car. Clint Boyer raced that race car. Won a championship in that car also. Oh, no, actually, I think he won in the 2 car when he won the title. I don't think he was in the 21. But he did race that car full-time in the Busch Series. Of course, Kevin Harvick won the 2006 championship. Not necessarily with that paint scheme. Maybe he ran it sometimes throughout the course of the year, but won the Xfinity title in 06. 2001 also, but I don't think that was in the 21. So Brandon Jones off to a rough start with his new team. Crashed late at Daytona, having a good run going for him until the closing laps. And then today was 2 laps down, got back to the lead lap, and as he was driving his way through the field, kind of cleared a little early off turn 4 and wrecked himself. Quite a few drivers on old tires at the front of the field here. We had some drivers pit, though. Sammy Smith is probably, not sure exactly where he's at for the restart. He's outside the top 15. Josh Berry also pitted with him, as well as Sam Mayer, Parker Kligerman. It'll be fun to see what they can do. Green flag back in the air. Riley Herbst spins his tires. He was on the inside of the front row. 21 got into the back of him, which stacked up the inside lane, allows for Creed and Allgaier to clear into turns 1 and 2. And enough room, in fact, for Allgaier to go. Look, oh, Custer's in the wall. Hard contact, caution's out. He gets ran into from behind. Cole Custer had something wrong there. I don't know if he had a tire go down or what happened, but Custer in the wall and gets crammed from behind. And I think Austin Dillon made contact with him, if I'm not mistaken. Dillon was on the outside with nowhere to go, right behind Custer. And Cole Custer, who won the first 2 stages of this race, was dominating, has still led the most laps with 46 laps led today, in the wall on the restart, all on his own.
Maybe that's why we saw him struggling a little bit in that last run. You know, we saw him lose some spots, couldn't really go anywhere, and then, you know, you wonder if that right front was soft.
Maybe you see him at the top of your screen sparking already, right? When it's sparked, and that's probably just wave arm, meaning there's no air in the right front.
Austin Dillon.
Yeah, nothing he could do, right? I mean, you're all bunched up on a restart, and he had nowhere to go.
So it looked like a right front tire or something had broke underneath the 00 of Cole Custer's race car as they were taking the green flag run into turns 1 and 2 following a restart. And was already in the outside lane, so luckily no more cars were collected. But Austin Dillon, innocent bystander, was on the outside right behind him, ran into the left rear of Custer's car. Pretty significant damage to both the right front of Custer's car as well as the left rear. Or sorry, the right front of Dillon's car and the left rear of Custer's car. That caution is big for Riley Herbst, who was scored in 5th when the caution flag came out. He restarted inside of the front row, spun his tires. He definitely could have lost a lot more positions. We've seen a lot of drivers on that inside lane within the first couple rows when they don't get off to good restarts initially 1 and 2, falling potentially outside the top 10. Luckily, he got bailed out with this early yellow less than a half a lap in, and he only fell back to 5th. Still lost a couple spots, but it could have been much worse for Herbst. Quite a big hole in that right front as well for Austin Dillon. It does look like there's some damage to the suspension of his race car as well. Not a good day for Colleague Racing. Justin Haley had some damage from a crash. Finished many laps down. A couple laps down at least, outside the top 25. And then AJ Allmendinger finished dead last today as well. SC30, thanks for tuning in. Lights in turn 1 are so bright. Spotlights. Probably just to glow the TV. I doubt it's affecting the drivers any. Wonder if it's temporary. lighting. Or newer lights that... You know what? Actually, I wonder if that's for the short track. Potentially. Could be wrong on that. Because they look brighter than the rest of the lights on the track. Don't look into the light. You only make it worse. It's our 8th caution of the race already. We had 8 cautions in the entire 400-mile Cup race. And we aren't even 200 miles into this Xfinity race, and we're already at 8 cautions. So, very incident-full in our primetime race for the Xfinity Series on this doubleheader Sunday for you guys with these live commentary live streams. Still outside the field window to make it to the end yet. Which that window is, I believe, 45 to 48 laps is the field window. I'd imagine that everybody will be staying out of the pits here, considering the fact that they didn't even get a half a lap in following the restart. Lights are still on the pace car, so it will not be going green this time by. Yeah, the 10 was Austin Dillon. So Austin Dillon, Cole Custer involved in that last crash after Custer's car had some sort of an issue, whether it was a right front or suspension. There were sparks coming out from underneath the car before he had drifted up into that wall on the outside of the racetrack. I wonder if he ran under something under caution that caused that tire to go flat. If that is what had potentially happened. Good thing I didn't pick Austin Dillon to win it. Well, I did pick Cole Custer to win. Never mind. I had Custer. He won the first 2 stages. Was looking pretty good. Dillon was my pick last night. But then because that race got postponed, he was running 2 races in the same day. I switched my pick to Custer for the race started today. And unfortunately, both were taken out in that incident. So, what are the odds? Now, Custer and Dillon, for that matter, still scored on the lead lap for right now. Be interested to see if those drivers will continue. I'm sure Custer will be able to continue as long as it wasn't a major break underneath the race car. And if it was just a right front tire, he'll be able to continue. He's got more damage to his left rear, though, than Sheldon Creed had to his back bumper. Creed hit the back of the race car against the inside wall in the backstretch when they tried to pull off a block on Josh Berry early at stage 2. For the most part, saved it. He just kind of kissed it. Scuffed the back bumper, but that was about it. And now, all of a sudden, Sheldon Creed is the one leading this race. And Cole Custer, who was dominating the race at the time, not so much. Used to Custer being in the 41 Cup car. Yeah, I've been used to that as well. It is kind of weird seeing Priest in that car now. Custer was in that car for 3 full seasons. Dale Jr. KFC Busch car. I've seen that diecast before. I've seen that at a lot of the diecast vendors. I mean, you see a lot of Dale Jr. stuff. There's probably more Dale Jr. diecast than anybody else. Jr. and Jeff Gordon. Like any diecast area you go to, most tents have like dozens of different paint schemes of those drivers. I haven't bought any Gordons yet because my grandpa's got a lot of Jeff Gordon diecasts that I may get someday, so I don't want to double up on them. The only Gordon diecast I have is a Nicorette 2009 car. Same one he crashed at pretty badly at Vegas. Not that same car, but... Well, I mean, it could be. I don't know. I know it's from 2009. Same paint scheme. But I know he doesn't have that die cast, so it's like, Green Flames Jeff Gordon, you know, it's a random one, but it's kind of cool. Unique. So, Sheldon Creed lead the field to the green. Oh, big push from behind as he did not get going there initially. And the 7 of Justin Allgaier about wiped out trying to give him a push on the outside lane. Austin Hill squeezing up the middle, 3 wide now between Allgaier and Herbst. Chandler Smith down to the inside trying to take the race lead away from Sheldon Creed, and he is clear off turn 2. Chandler Smith leads for the first time tonight. Austin Hill trying to throw a block and almost forced the 11 into the wall. Sheldon Creed rockets himself back down to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to take over the race lead back from the 16. And Chandler Smith will not officially lead a lap, as it'll be Creed leading off the exit of turn 4. Maybe, because Smith is back down to the bottom. Smith does lead that lap at the line by half a car length, so never mind. Creed down to side draft the 16 car. On the inside of the racetrack, down into 1 and 2, the 16 on the bottom, the 2 of Creed on the outside. And Sheldon Creed is going to be able to pull clear off the exit of turn 2 and now looking to drive away. John Hunter Nemechek has rallied off the restart, battling for 3rd with Justin Allgaier. They're side by side, and Sammy Smith back up to 5th place on slightly fresher tires. Both Nemechek and Smith pitted under the second to last caution, so they have fresher tires, and that restart allowed them to drive back through the field on multiple different occasions. With the pack bunched together. Got trouble off of turn 4. 24 of Tyler Reddick got squeezed into the outside wall, potentially by Josh Berry. And some problems right now. Heavy smoke building on the 24 car. Meanwhile, we have a pass for the race lead at the front of the field. John Hunter Nemechek back out in front for the second different time today. Sammy Smith on the inside of Chandler Smith for 3rd. Quite a bit of damage on the left front fender right now of Reddick's 24 car for Sam Hunt Racing. Reddick is going to be pitting this time by more than likely with a heavy tire rub on that left front fender. Showing a replay of what potentially happened. Josh Berry was down on the bottom, drifted up right into the side of Reddick and crunched him into the wall. They were actually 3 wide because, well, they weren't 3 wide at the time. Sam Mayer made a 3 wide pass on the bottom after the 2 cars made contact, but Reddick definitely got smushed against the wall by the 8 of Berry. Tough break for Tyler Reddick. Not had great luck at Auto Club over the last calendar year between last year's Cup race leading 90 laps, winning the first 2 stages, blowing a tire while leading, and then this weekend, specifically, obviously today, got caught up in a wreck early at stage 2. And started deep in the field because of having a not-so-good finish at Daytona last week. And now here in this Xfinity race, running back after the top 10, gets squeezed into the wall by Josh Berry. New leader off turn 2, Sammy Smith. First chance he had to get underneath John Hunter Nemechek. He took it, and he clears him, and now looking to pull away into turns 3 and 4. Smith running the bottom more effectively than maybe anybody else because he is running the bottom on a consistent basis both ends of the racetrack and is making time up despite cars on the outside lane behind him. But with John Hunter on the outside behind him and now getting the draft, it'll be interesting if he tries to cross him back over. Nope, he chooses to stay in line behind him. Maybe had a chance to do so. He's going to hold back, maybe try to conserve his tires over the longer run. Sammy Smith down to the outside in turns 1 and 2, and into the middle lane goes Nemechek, and he's going to fight back to the inside of the 18. Side by side, back straight away. Going to slow each other up a little bit with the side draft. Sheldon Creed a 2.5 seconds off the lead in 3rd, now trying to hold off Josh Berry in the 8 car as they battle for position once more. Nemechek down onto the apron, a little slide job. The 18 into the middle lane. Nemechek clear with ease by about a car length and a half off of turn 4. So close to the grass in the middle of the corner was Nemechek trying to make that pass on the 18, who gave him room. And now Berry with the run has also cleared for 3rd. And he is closing in on this battle for the lead. The more that the 18 and the 20 go back and forth, the better it is for Josh Berry in the 8. And Sheldon Creed has fallen way off because now Sam Mayer's battling him for 4th.
Yeah, he's saying watch the 24 because he knows, like, I mean, he smushed him into the wall. And Tyler's not going to be happy about it. I don't see Tyler making a move that that was going to hurt possibly for the next Sunday. This is an extra race that he doesn't have to do. Although I understand she should be mad at the moment, but I don't know if he's going to retaliate in that type of way.
Might have said this earlier, but he's driving at 24 again next week at Las Vegas. Tyler Reddick is.
Now that might be a time that he's going to make his life not so pleasant. I can see that.
These are kind of teammates racing here. Both colleague and Big Machine have an alliance with RCR. Parker Kligerman drives by the rookie Chandler Smith.
Remember, Kligerman pitted as well as the 18 and the 20 and the 8 who were in the top 3. Those were the 4 cars that were in the top 10 prior to the last caution, or the second to last yellow, where they pitted. So obviously Nemechek has gotten to first, Smith to second, Berry to third. Mayer also pitted, my bad on that. So Sam Mayer hit pit road also. He is in 4th. And now you have Parker Kligerman up to 7th. So all those drivers that took those fresher tires a while back, it is panning out for them because now they are in the lead. They have the track position, and everybody still has to pit one more time yet in today's race. So we know there's at least one more set of tires left available for everybody and all these teams. And who will be able to capitalize? Maybe pit first. Sheldon Creed fading on the long run, and I think maybe the damage to the back of the race car could be affecting the handling over the course of the longer run rather than the short run. That, he was battling so hard for the race lead every chance he had. He probably used a lot of his tires up compared to a lot of the rest of the cars that are past him, both on fresher tires and equal tires as Creed as far as laps go. Joe Graff Jr. in the 19 for Joe Gibbs Racing, making a pass on Daniel Hemrick for position. Currently in 11th, he's in his first start with Joe Gibbs Racing in the 19. Nemechek has about a 7/10 of a second lead right now over Sammy Smith. Smith had caught past him, and then Nemechek was able to cross him over a lap later. And pulled away slightly, but now after getting out to about a 7 to 8/10 of a second lead, Smith has been able to keep himself within that bubble on his teammate. And with who had the fastest car in the first half of the race, Cole Custer having that issue, and now he is fallen well off. Currently Custer in 27th right now, 22 seconds off the lead with the damage to his left rear after blowing a right front on the last restart. Now he is obviously out of contention to more than likely win this race. And the doors open up for John Hunter Nemechek, who did lead the first 20 laps of the day initially. And now has finally gotten that track position back despite multiple mistakes on pit road by his crew. He definitely has a chance to get the most laps led in today's race if he could continue to lead. He's about 17 laps led behind Custer, who has still led the most with 46 laps led, but we still have 44 to go. So plenty of time for Nemechek to try to get to that total. Sammy Smith is running back down, though, over the last couple of laps. Smith was about 3/10 of a second quicker than John Hunter Nemechek that last lap specifically, and has gotten back to within 2/10 of a second now. And maybe has a run as we have a battle for the race lead down the back straightaway. Sammy Smith going low as Nemechek went low trying to break the draft on the backstretch. Smith looking for everything he can get. Now he'll dive bomb to the inside. Sammy Smith on the white line. Up near the walls, Nemechek on the top. A little slide job incoming. One Joe Gibbs car on another. And Sammy Smith back to the lead. Now will he try to block Nemechek? He does through the tri-oval. And Sammy Smith back out in front at Auto Club. A lot of trash blowing around on the racetrack all day today, both in the Cup race and now the Xfinity race. Sammy Smith getting loose off turn 2. Hangs on to the race lead, and I wonder if the air got taken off the rear spoiler of the race car where he got a bit sideways. John Hunter Nemechek trying to pull in line behind Sammy Smith. Wanted to make sure all the debris was off his race car and almost ended up getting the 18 sideways despite not making contact with him, just being so close behind his back bumper where the cars are the lightest right off the exit of the corner, especially in turn 2 where it's flatter on the backstretch than the front stretch. Smith in the middle. John Hunter Nemechek on the outside, and Nemechek will clear him easily off turn 2 for the lead again. 41 laps to go. John Hunter Nemechek back out in front. A battle back and forth between himself and his teammate Sammy Smith. Smith down to the bottom again through 3 and 4. Nemechek up near the wall. Smith has been on the bottom a lot in turns 3 and 4. It's been working out fairly well for him. Parker Kligerman making a pass on Chandler Smith for 6th place over the last couple laps. And trying to run down Justin Allgaier for 5th. He's about 1.8 seconds behind him. So Sammy Smith in the lead. John Hunter Nemechek 2nd. Sam Mayer 3rd. Josh Berry is 4th. Justin Allgaier is 5th. Parker Kligerman in 6th. Chandler Smith in 7th. Sheldon Creed 8th. Riley Herbst 9th. Joe Graff Jr. is 10th. Austin Hill 11th. Daniel Hemrick 12th. Austin Dillon 13th. Kaz Gralla 14th. Brett Moffitt 15th. Ryan Sieg 16th. Jeremy Clement 17th. Jeb Burton 18th. Roger Carruth 19th. And Ryan Ellis is 20th. Anthony Alfredo 21st. Ross Chastain 22nd. 23rd is Kyle Sieg. Josh Williams 24th. Jeffrey Earnhardt 25th. Cole Custer 26th after winning the first 2 stages. Having a flat right front. A couple of restarts ago. Jeffrey Earnhardt 26th. Parker Kligerman 27th. Alex Labay in... Parker Retzlaff in 27th. Alex Labay 28th. 29th is Brennan Poole. David Starr 30th. Bailey Curry 31st. Timmy Hill 32nd. Blaine Perkins 33rd. 34th is Joey Gase. Brandon Jones in 35th. He's the last car on the lead lap. CJ McLaughlin 36th. Tyler Reddick 37th. And Greg Golding in 38th. Golding the only car out of the race today. Got some cars on pit road. Short pitting here to the end of the race. Parker Kligerman is the first one in from 6th place with 39 laps to go. Trying to get some of this time back. He was about 7 seconds off the race lead from Nemechek. Fall off right now from the race leaders. Nemechek's fastest lap of the day is a 40.756. And that last lap he ran was a 42.642. Make that 42.596. So hovering around the 42.5, 42.6. That is about 1.8 seconds slower than his fastest lap of the race. And these cars last pitted a handful of restarts ago. There's a back bumper, by the way, dragging off of one of the cars that has quite a bit of damage, I would have to imagine. So that may cause a debris caution before long if NASCAR doesn't black flag that car beforehand to try to come down to pit road so it doesn't impede with the rest of this race, which is not good for Parker Kligerman, who's short pitted and is currently a lap down as a result of that. He definitely needs this to cycle back through for it to work out for himself. They cut to a soccer game for like 2 seconds and then right back to the race on Fox. I'm about to be like, what the heck? What happened? That was strange. Justin Allgaier now on pit road as well.
And Justin Allgaier coming in with 37 laps to go.
Yeah, this is a lot of strategy here right now, right? You got, green flag cycles are happening. You're going to be 2+ seconds a lap faster than the guys that are still out there. But they're also going to have newer tires later in the run and may come back. He's got a lot of time to make up, the 7 does, to the Gibbs cars that are out front. Here comes Austin Hill.
Yeah, Austin Hill in the pits also.
Happening, but there's a lot going on.
You guys had a cycle of green flag stops earlier today. Give me an idea. Old worn out tires, high speeds here. We know what the racetrack is like, how difficult to execute. I'll follow up on that in a moment. First, let's cover the 21, Josh.
Yeah, been an up and down day for Austin Hill, but he comes in right now to his pit, telling them to focus here, make sure they get this down straight as they get those 4 tires and fuel and a tear off.
Well, the one car is Sam Mayer. That car has come to life as the temperatures have cooled off. He is very happy with that race car right now. Early in the race, too loose, but everything good right now for the one.
Chandler Smith coming onto pit road.
Sam Mayer, Chandler Smith are in.
And everyone in there went.
Riley Herbst, Daniel Hemrick also on pit road.
We would get a caution. Daniel Hemrick making a stop, 35 to go.
we saw the one come in. So he was the closest to the 20, right? I mean, he was a couple seconds back. It was on the same tire strategy. They decided to put their tires on early to try to see if they could jump the 20. As they, you know, just that's his only shot to probably get in front of him.
Josh Berry third, Regan.
Adam asked him about 10 laps ago how that car was. He simply said, tight. That's all that came out from the driver's seat. Josh Berry needing some adjustments for the end here.
So Sam Mayer gave up a spot inside the top 5 to pit. Same for Josh Berry. Top 2 stay on track. The teammates from Joe Gibbs Racing, Nemechek and Sammy Smith. And you can see the Gibbs crews getting on the wall here. That's the 19 of Joe Graff Jr. And yes, the
race leader, John Hunter Nemechek, in the pits. And I think Sammy Smith might have stayed out this time by. It's going to be interesting.
Josh, what's up?
Yep, and like you mentioned, scheduled pit stop for John Hunter Nemechek. Towards the end of that run, he was saying he's burning up those front tires. So far, he's led 36 laps.
Teammate Sammy Smith stays on track here. I'm guessing he'll come next time around because you don't want to give up too much.
I would think so, right? I mean, I don't know if you want to stay out there too long.
I mean, he's already given up.
Got a lap car on the inside while Sammy Smith's trying to get down to the bottom, potentially to pit road this time. And he is now backing the car up, and on his way in he comes. But pitting one lap after Nemechek, this could cost him a little bit of time.
They're teammates, and they're still racing each other, right? The crew chiefs are down there trying to play the games as well because they know how closely matched their cars are tonight.
This isn't Daytona and Talladega. You don't need a drafting partner, right? You're on your own in this scenario. Here's Sammy, Josh.
And it's been a really strong run for Sammy Smith in his first race in the Xfinity Series here at Fontana. He's getting those tires and fuel. Regan?
Sheldon Creed trying to drag out his last pit stop as long as possible. This will be the last set of sticker tires for the 2 car. They need this race to go green to the end.
Yeah, they were on a little bit of a different cycle with those tires because of the issue they had earlier and had to make that stop after the spin. All of this takes us back to the 10 of Austin Dillon. Didn't we write him off? We said no, Austin Dillon here right now. He's leading, but as I look at it, he's going to have to
pit.
Yeah, he's going to have to pit again. Yeah,
He's still got to pit. He's running out, and you know, at this point, if you're the 10 of Austin Dillon, just get on a different strategy. I'm with you. Run it long, and then hopefully there's a caution. You got another set of tires, and you can do something different. But he's injured.
They last pitted at 93. So what do we expect out of Austin Dillon here, Regan?
Adam, Joey, you're exactly right. That's the plan with these guys. They've only got one set, so they said we're going to stay out as long as we can right here and run it long and try to catch a break.
Was he celebrating over there? Regan confirms what Joey said he was celebrating.
I was watching the tear off.
Okay.
Austin Dillon got brand new.
So, not sure on the interval. Well, I guess I can look on my my laptop here. About a 5-second difference right now between where John Hunter Nemechek is on track and Sammy Smith. Smith pitted 1 lap after him, so he probably lost 2 seconds there. And just maybe a slower stop on the 18 versus the 20 as well, costing Sammy Smith a little bit of time. Parker Kligerman actually cycled out ahead of Sammy Smith. Remember, Kligerman was the first car to come into the pits. Justin Allgaier battling right now with John Hunter Nemechek. Trying to side draft him there a little bit. Slingshot move down to the bottom in turns 1 and 2. Allgaier battling for 5th place right now on the racetrack in the eventual race lead with John Hunter. And Nemechek is going to be clear off turn 2. Looking to get by Ross Chastain and Ryan Ellis. Those are both for position because neither Chastain or Ellis have pit yet. Allgaier almost into the back of Ellis on the bottom of the racetrack. I don't think he realized the 43 might have been pitting this time. And he was not pitting, so never mind. He just about ran over him regardless of the fact. Barely able to escape. Sammy Smith lost obviously a lot of ground to the 20 car, but all the Junior Motorsport Chevrolets as well that pitted earlier cycle ahead of Sammy Smith. Smith has just passed Kligerman for 9th.
It's going to be much better right now for the end of the race.
Well, that's one way to motivate your driver.
You look up there, Austin Dillon has got an advantage of 20 seconds over John Hunter Nemechek. And as we said, he's going to have to make a pit stop. There's a few others up there. Jeb Burton in the 27. Ross Chastain going to have to pit again. Ryan Ellis is in the top 10. He will have to make a pit stop. But when you look at the difference in what the times they're running, I mean, Nemechek is more than 2 seconds faster than the 10 of Dillon. So he's going to be running down.
You see how fast the 26 car moved?
Yeah.
Austin Dillon.
Yeah, you know, if you're Austin Dillon, Ross Chastain, Ryan Ellis, they're hoping for Jeb Burton even in 11th, hoping for a caution now, right? So then you come in and get your stickers, and you gain a little bit of track position because everyone probably come in and maybe get tires again, or not, or then you're at an advantage if you pit and everyone has 10 laps or so of their stuff, and you can maybe get some spots on your stickers.
If you're Austin Dillon, you're not racing for points. He is out of contention to win. He's obviously injured with the car, the right front nose piece gone. Why wouldn't you? You got nothing to lose. You might as well give it a shot.
Hey, and speaking of that 10 car, next week, we saw Justin Haley race it last week at Daytona. It's the all-star car for Kaulig. Kyle Busch, who won the Cup race today, making his return to the Xfinity Series. Hometown race. He'll be driving the 10 car for Kaulig the next 2 weeks. And, hey, Friday night, we've got the Craftsman Truck Series on FS1 from Las Vegas. Kyle going to be running the 51. And then he'll run the Xfinity car Saturday, and obviously going for back-to-back wins in the Cup car on Sunday. So Kyle going to be very busy as he goes back to Vegas next weekend.
So Austin Dillon leads right now by about 15 seconds over John Hunter Nemechek. 25 laps to go at the line this time by. But again, Austin Dillon still has to hit pit road before the end of the race. Kind of running a similar strategy to what Michael McDowell was doing in the Cup Series race earlier today, where he ended up hitting pit road a lot later into the run, just kind of hoping we get a caution so he could then take tires. It would trap more cars a lap down, so he wouldn't have to restart as far back in the field as well, and could potentially gain some spots even with the damage to the 10 car right now. Running decent speed despite the damage, though, all things considered, I will say. Faster than what I thought he was going to be with the hole in the right front. Right front fender is just absolutely non-existent on the race car. He had to cut it off. So he was just kind of dangling and rubbing on the right front tire. Now, John Hunter Nemechek is about 1.5 seconds ahead of Justin Allgaier, who would be the next driver behind him for position in third. And the driver he was battling was Sammy Smith, is about 4 seconds behind him. It was 5.5 seconds, so Smith has closed that gap down a little bit. But the problem is there's a couple JRM Chevrolets, 3 of them exactly, between himself and Nemechek. So if he catches them, he's probably going to have to battle with them, which is going to use his tires up. It's going to be difficult time-wise to pass those guys and get up to Nemechek here before the end of this race, even if he is a skosh quicker following those green flag stops. So Nemechek in a pretty good spot right now as long as he can manage his tires well enough to the end, and as long as we stay green to the end of the race as well. Austin Dillon trying to hope for a caution while he leads this race. He's got a car right behind him, about 12 seconds off the race lead. 23 laps to go at the line now for Dillon in that Kaulig Racing number 10 car. And despite the damage, just hoping for a prayer, and he's got it because caution is out. For the nighttime tonight, Ryan Ellis has spun off the exit of turn 4. He's down in the front stretch grass, and we are going to get a late race restart here in the Xfinity Series at Auto Club. Oh boy. And these race starts have been wild all day through both races, so we typically see that, how wide this racetrack is. And it's available racing lines on both ends of the track, especially 3 and 4. Interesting decision here for who pits and who stays out. This gets Austin Dillon right back in the race as well. Free pass will go to Ryan Sieg in 16th. So there will only be 16 cars on the lead lap. And I would imagine that, I mean, you could see if everybody in the lead lap pits, then those drivers who are 1 lap down due to Austin Dillon staying out of the pits as long as he did, they would be able to get their lap back, but they'd be on older tires, kind of hoping for another caution to happen so that way they can then pit after that. I would imagine they'll probably take the wave around, but very interesting here to see who will pit or not pit. And I think pit road will be open this time by. This is going to get interesting, strategy-wise and racing-wise, as we have seen probably better racing, honestly, in this Xfinity race than what we saw in the Cup race earlier today. Couple of dumb moves, but you typically see that in the Xfinity series. Showing the finish of the 2016 Auto Club Xfinity race where Austin Dillon won. Dramatic finish. I didn't even know this race happened until like 2 or 3 years after the fact. Because I was watching the highlights, random highlights on YouTube on like the compilation channels that show a bunch of random stuff, like crazy NASCAR finishes, whatever number I was watching. And I saw that. I'm like, when did this happen? I'm like, I had no clue. I had to look it up. And yeah, it was 2016 Auto Club. Because I didn't really watch every Xfinity truck race, you know, in the mid-2010s, and I missed out on that finish. Wild one. I highly recommend going back to watch at the end of tonight. Leaders are on pit road currently.
Race, Austin Dillon in the 10 car, very happy with that caution. That team was very pleased on the radio. Said that the damage is actually thinks it's helped his car out just a little bit on entry. They're going to free him up slightly. Josh?
Well, the 18 with Sammy Smith happy with that car. They knew everybody was coming in to get those tires, so they're going to come in and get topped off with fuel. John Hunter Nemechek in the 20, also very happy with his car as well. He's getting tires and fuel for this final run.
The all-important race off pit road. And it's been key today to who has control of the race.
Austin Dillon with the right front that is non-existent on that race car is going to win the race off of pit road. John Hunter Nemechek second, Allgaier third, Sammy Smith up 2 spots. He's back in it in fourth. A slow stop on the 18 team plus staying out a lap longer than the 20 has allowed Sammy Smith to get back in it. And the guy who might have been in the best contention of winning this race if it cycled all the way through, we didn't get a caution at the end of the race, John Hunter Nemechek, now going to have to fight for it here to the finish. Now, it was not a gimme race win by any means for John Hunter Nemechek. He was about a second and a half ahead of Justin Allgaier. He had pulled away initially, and then they were kind of stagnated apart from each other within that second and a half or so as they were navigating through lap traffic and slower cars. But he did have an advantage, obviously. It was going to be interesting and probably easier for him to hold on to the end, but now it's going to be much, much harder following that. Now, there were a couple drivers, I believe, that stayed out of the pits. Believe it or not. It looks like Sheldon Creed and Ryan Sieg stayed out of the pits.
That makes a lot more sense from up here. I mean, maybe he was a little loose in and took a little front down off of it. Yeah, maybe. Okay. Okay.
Now, this restart's going to be really interesting because we talked about the fact that Sheldon Creed didn't have tires, didn't want a caution. We get a caution, he stays out because he really, he didn't have much of an option unless he was going to put some old scuffs on. Ultimately, they stay on track. So you've got him up there on old tires. You got the wounded car of Austin Dillon. Where do you choose? Who goes where? This is going to be some kind of restart. And hey, Ryan Sieg, another driver that's being shown up there.
Yeah, so Austin Dillon is actually sitting third right now. Then you got John Hunter Nemechek, who's proven to be fast. A 7 who we think is fast, but has never really been on the same schedule as everybody yet.
And Sieg, that's just a snafu in timing and scoring. He actually came down pit road and came across the start-finish line. The trip is he's not going to restart in that position.
Okay. So then the question kind of comes up being, and here's Austin Hill taking a checkered flag last week.
I mean, what a start for RCR. They win last week. I mean, a pole in a race in the Xfinity Series for Austin Hill at Daytona today. Kyle Busch gets it done. Checking the box for RCR, 61st career victory. And maybe most impressive, he's now won in 19 consecutive seasons, Kyle has. That's the best all-time at the Cup level. Just remarkable.
Absolutely. Kyle's been a tremendous talent in our sport for a long period of time now.
And the drivers from RCR here are going to restart inside the top 10. We mentioned the story for Creed, Austin Hill up there as well.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Yeah, I'm sure Sheldon's going to pick the top. Austin's going to... I'm kind of of surprised that 20 went with Sheldon. I mean, I'm sure he's going to try to take it 3 wide somewhere, you know, shoot the middle, or if Sheldon leads the lead up on the top, he's going to, you know, shoot up there. But that'll be tricky. You know, Sheldon has a decent amount of laps on his stuff. I mean, he's got about maybe 10 laps on it, but you know, that's pretty surprising. I figured the 20 would have chose behind the fresh tires and be on the second row still.
You know, it's something we've seen on these restarts, right in the restart zone with older tires. These guys are spinning the rear tires a little bit. New tires helps the forward drive when it comes to the restart zone, and Sheldon doesn't have as new tires as some of them. So, being the 20 car, John Hunter behind him, he's trapped. So it'll be interesting.
Speaking of the restart zone, walk us through the changes there. It's been expanded and what.
Mark 63, Tim Brown, Trisha Games, and others also welcome into the stream that I haven't shouted out here over the recent laps here late in this race. Will this be the final restart? We'll have to find out here in a matter of moments. We'll have to find out. Sheldon Creed will be the leader on the restart. He has about 10 lap older tires than the rest of the field. Everybody else took 4 tires and pitted under this caution behind him, but this means Sheldon Creed has an extra set of tires left to the end of the race if we see another caution. So maybe that is what they were thinking. Now there are 25 cars back in the lead lap because everybody from 17th through 26th took the 17th through 25th took the wave around. They're back on the lead lap on older tires, so they could also take tires if we get a late caution in this one, if not kind of out of luck. Another lap of caution will be added, so they will not be going green this time. So because of adding another lap of caution, here we go. Sheldon Creed electing the outside lane. So Sheldon Creed elects the outside lane on the restart. Again, he'll be on 10 lap older tires. Inside of the front row will be Austin Dillon with the hole in the right front after Cole Custer had blown a tire in front of him on the restart. Dillon had nowhere to go, was in the outside lane behind him, ran right into his left rear, so there's damage on the 10. Have to imagine that that is going to slow him up quite a bit. The 2 of Creed also has damage, but it's to the back of the race car, so he has been able to gather himself back up. But regardless of the fact you have 2 cars with damage at the front of the field, and then you have the 7 and the 20 in row 2, Allgaier will be on the outside, and John Hunter Nemechek will be on the inside. King Randy also welcome into the stream. We're going to have 17 laps to go on the restart. And Creed will be the control car. Wild restarts all the time at Fontana. This may be the final Wild Fontana restart at the 2 Mile Oval, as we're closing down to the final laps of its existence in motor racing in general, not just in NASCAR. Long storied history here with IndyCar as well. Put on some great races from the late 90s all the way up to the mid-2015s, and as well with NASCAR, especially once they broke into the early 2010s. This place has put on a lot of good shows since then. Green flag is going to be back in the air. Creed gets a push from behind from Justin Allgaier on the outside. The 10 car not taking off well with the damage either. The 7 splits the middle, 3 wide, nearly contact behind him between John Hunter Nemechek and Sammy Smith. And now Nemechek is in between the 10 and the 7, 3 wide for the lead, still in the middle of the corner. Off the exit of turn 2, it's Nemechek and Allgaier side by side. Big crash, Sammy Smith involved. Spin on the back straightaway, cautions out again. A lot of cars scattering and miss. I don't think anybody else was collected. Not sure how it started. It looked like they were 4 wide back there and nowhere to go. Sammy Smith gets turned. Some damage to the left side door of Smith's race car, but that seems to be about it. Roof flap is stuck up as well. He'll have to come back onto pit road and have to flip that back down. Caution flag is out, and I believe Justin Allgaier was in the lead when the caution flag came out. Nemechek was in second. That is not as early of a caution as Sheldon Creed would have liked because he lost some track position there, but definitely 4 wide. It was Creed Smith. Josh Berry, and they were almost 5 wide off the exit of turn 2. It looked like there was contact from behind, though, that turned Smith. It wasn't the fact that they were 5 wide off the exit of turn 2. Surprisingly, that Smith had ran out of room. It looked like the 21 of Austin Hill got into his left rear and just turned him right in the middle of the corner. Almost turned Sheldon Creed. Great job by Creed saving his car. Kind of got clipped by the 18 when he got knocked sideways from the 21 from behind. But everybody was able to miss him on the back straightaway. Good thing there's a lot of pavement back there to be able to go all the way to the inside like most drivers did to try and miss. 5 wide, gone wrong at Auto Club on the restart. And really, again, it wasn't the 5 wide that actually caused the incident. It was Austin Hill just kind of being trapped with nowhere to go with 5 cars wide in front of him, and he got into the back of Sammy Smith. Just pushing a little too hard. Tough break because Sammy Smith was very fast today, ran top 3 most of this race. Had led 14 laps. And now he's going to have to come back into this onto pit road. He's going to lose a lot of track position. He's going to end up outside the top 15. Top 25, rather.
Did you hit him at all? Right side damage, anything? I checked center of the bumper and left front side.
Looks good to me.
That was the radio communications on the 21 of Austin Hill, trying to go for back-to-back wins to start the season, and also trying to have RCR sweep the day and sweep the weekend after Kyle Busch won the NASCAR Cup Series race earlier on. Yeah, Creed had no chance on older tires. I'm thinking what they were trying to do was hope that this stayed green for a handful of laps and then they could pit to take fresher tires after the fact. We'll have at least one more restart. Sam Mayer flipped on the last lap in a close battle at the end of the Xfinity race at Daytona last weekend. I'm really hoping that everybody stays on all 4 wheels late in this one. And we see some good racing here to the very end. So our 10th caution of the race. Again, we had 8 in the Cup race earlier. And that race was 100 miles longer in length than this one. We still have 15 laps to go right now. Probably going to have about 13 laps left at least on the restart. Shouldn't be a lot of cleanup from the spin from Mayer. Nobody else was really collected. It was kind of a clean turn off the front bumper of the 21 of Austin Hill. But Allgaier will be the control car in the restart. Sheldon Creed staying out of the pits again. He'll be 4th on the restart this time. But he definitely did not take off well the last time. Sherry Hicks, thanks for tuning in. Gonna be another caution watch. Well, we have a good chance of that. It is the Xfinity Series after all. We tend to see cautions, Brady cautions, a lot more in the Xfinity and Truck Series than the Cup, and it even happens in Cup from time to time. As we get later and later in these races, remember, if any of these Xfinity Series regulars win, that is in Austin Hill, they will be locked into the playoffs, and there are only 12 spots available in the Xfinity Series playoffs, despite the same amount of races in the regular season. That is because there are only 7 races in the playoffs, 3 rounds, rather than the 4-round 16-man playoff in the Cup side. I think Parker Retzlaff got the free pass during that caution. Let me check just to make sure. Sorry, Ross Chastain got the free pass due to that caution. Didn't realize he was still lapped down. So he might be on fresher tires here. Back marker program he's racing for in the 91 for this weekend. In the Xfinity Series, at least. Finished third in the Cup race earlier today. And Austin Dillon, who had a top 10 in the Cup race, is running third in this Xfinity race right now. Tyler Reddick has had issues in both races. Cup side ended up DNFing, finished outside the top 30, and today he's 2 laps down at 35th after getting squeezed into the wall by Josh Berry, middle of stage 2. So Justin Allgaier elects the outside lane for the restart once again. It'll be him and John Hunter Nemechek on the front row. Nemechek obviously on the bottom. Row 2, Sam Mayer on the inside. Austin Dillon on the outside. And then row 3, Josh Berry on the inside. Sheldon Creed on the top. And I'm curious to see how Creed takes off on those older tires again, because he didn't take off well the first time. Austin Dillon didn't take off well the first time on the bottom either. And those are the first 2 cars on the outside behind Allgaier. So Allgaier probably not going to get a great push here. He's all going to be by himself initially. I think what he has to be hoping is that Mayer potentially goes 3 wide to the bottom to occupy the space on the 20, and that will probably be the best chance that Allgaier is going to have of being able to stay clear off the exit of Turn 2 following this restart, if you ask me. And as far as Austin Hill, Parker Kligerman, and Daniel Hemrick on the outside behind the 10 and the 2, you just got to hope that those 2 cars take off, because they're... I feel like there's more faith Austin Dillon will take off. He just is going to have a hard time trying to push the car in front of him with the hole in the right front fender, because his right front tire may literally rub the back bumper of Justin Allgaier. But in the case of Sheldon Creed, he's just got older tires. 12 laps to go in the restart. In the final race at the Auto Club Speedway as we know it. Who will get the win and get the last lap and the last trophy that will be presented at this racetrack in its current configuration? Green flag back in the air. Allgaier going to get the launch on the outside lane. John Hunter Nemechek down on the bottom. Big Fanny now going on behind him. They're already 4 wide before they get into turn 1, and that's mainly because they split around Sheldon Creed. Austin Dillon had to go to the outside to try to block the 21. The 7 got passed initially by the 20 before getting into turns 1 and 2, and John Hunter Nemechek is clear with the race lead off the exit of the corner, side by side for second between the GRM cars of Sam Mayer and Justin Allgaier. Berry on the outside battling for 4th with Chandler Smith into turn 3. A lot of cars down to the apron, including race leader John Hunter Nemechek. Nemechek is going to be clear by at least 4 car lengths off the exit of turn 4, while he's got a lot of Chevys battling side by side behind him. 3 wide further back between Kligerman, Hemrick, and Herbst. Austin Dillon getting a bump trap for Parker Kligerman. That'll launch both cars forward on the outside lane in 8th and 9th. Sam Mayer with a slide job in turns 1 and 2, and he is going to be able to clear the 7 of Justin Allgaier. 3 wide off the exit of turn 2. Now Berry up the middle in between Chandler Smith and Allgaier as well. Austin Hill to push the 7 on the back straightaway. Sparks flying, cars bottoming out all over the place. Allgaier down to the bottom to try to protect his positioning on Chandler Smith. Austin Hill should be able to clear on the outside of the 16 and back in line behind the 7. Berry and Smith side by side still for position. Now Berry clear as well on the top before Smith finally falls himself in line in 6th place and has the 10 car of Austin Dillon trying to pressure from behind once more again. So Sam Mayer in the number 1, who has not led a lap all day, is in 2nd place. This is as high as he has been in the running order. Flipped while going for the win on the last lap at Daytona last week. And this week has a chance to try to redeem himself, but he's got to catch one of the fastest cars in the field all day, and that would be the 20 of John Hunter Nemechek. We will see if he is going to be able to run him down to the end. Nemechek has probably had the 2nd fastest car in the field behind Custer, who ended up having that tire go down earlier in the race after winning the first 2 stages. Something else to note is that there's been a lot of trash all over the racetrack today, and we have seen the race leader pick up that said trash at times, and they start to overheat. They have to let the car at second catch back up, get the trash off the grill of the race car, and kind of go from there to keep the car from overheating and then try to make the pass back on her. Now, we've seen the pass back be successful within the last few laps, but with just 8 laps to go this time by, for Nemechek's sake, I think you almost have to just run it out to the very end, hoping she doesn't blow if he does get trash on the grill. Austin Hill to the inside of Chandler Smith for position. Smith was able to side draft him to perfection, really, because by the time he sailed it off on the outside lane, he cleared Hill in the middle of the corner, and Hill couldn't get to the outside in time, and Josh Berry will also make the pass on the 21. So the failed pass attempt by Austin Hill actually ended up net losing him a position. Berry's up to 5th. Hill trying to get back to the inside of the 8. Sam Mayer about a 1/10 of a second quicker than John Hunter Nemechek that last lap. It is interesting. We haven't seen Mayer really in this position all day long. We know some of the JRM cars have had speed, but is it going to be possible in any way for him to run down John Hunter Nemechek in these closing laps? Mayer did a great job getting up to second within these last couple restarts to get himself in this position. Mayer ran a 41.451 that last lap, where John Hunter Nemechek ran a 41.605. They'll have 6 laps to go at the start-finish line this time by. And it looks like Nemechek is a little less than a 1/10 of a second quicker than Mayer this last lap. 12 miles of racing to go at the Auto Club Speedway. Allgaier trying to shrink that gap up to Sam Mayer as well. About a 1.2 second difference between the top 3. All 3 cars up along the outside lane near the wall in turns 1 and 2. The 20 car going down to the bottom of the track in 3 and 4, as does Sam Mayer. Mayer now running the top of the racetrack, trying to gain as much time as he can there. In fact, Allgaier went down to the bottom as well, so all the top 3, including even Chandler Smith in 4th, who was about another 1.5 seconds behind Allgaier, also went down towards the bottom. Pretty close to the apron at that. Down to 5 laps to go. Towards the top again go the 3 cars in 1 and 2, all about a lane and a half off the outside. Nobody all the way up near the wall. Sam Mayer, half a lane down on the apron. All 4 tires to the apron for Allgaier. And right on the white line was Nemechek in the lead. Nemechek pulls Mayer. That last lap is about 2/10 quicker. 4 to go. 1 second lead between the 20 and the 1. Hoping it stays green to the very end. Little bit of a close that time through turns 1 and 2 for Sam Mayer. Surprised he keeps going to the bottom. He's not trying the outside. Really most of the field in the top 10 going towards the bottom. Very few cars on the top lane trying to pick up some time there. Mayer a bit quicker than Nemechek by a 1/10.5 that last lap again. Down to just 3 to go. Just trying to get himself within range to get to John Hunter Nemechek and have a chance at him. Yeah, Mayer was 2/10 quicker that last lap. 2.5 laps to go for Nemechek. Time running out for Sam Mayer and Justin Allgaier to try to make a push at the 20 of John Hunter Nemechek. Mayer going all 4 tires below the apron in 3 and 4. Down on the white line again was Nemechek. Mayer is digging off the exit of the corner. You can see his car wiggling as he feeds it up towards the wall. 2 laps to go now at the line. Mayer trying to draft. Not going to the outside of the racetrack. 1 and 2, they're still running about a lane to a lane and a half off the wall. All 3 cars in the same line. Can't be helping these guys at all in the dirty air. Mayer a little loose off turn 2. Really driving the wheels off that race car trying to get to John Hunter. And that bobble costed Mayer about a 1/10 of a second off the exit of turn 2. And now Allgaier is starting to close in on the 1. Allgaier moves to the outside. Mayer down to the bottom. May have a battle for second on the last lap, but the race for the win is about all sealed up. John Hunter Nemechek with about a 9/10 of a second lead at the line. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank. 0.8 of a second was the difference at the start-finish line that time. John Hunter Nemechek continues to lead through 1 and 2. Justin Allgaier running down Sam Mayer for second, his teammate. Allgaier's about 3 to 4 tenths of a second behind Mayer on the backstretch. Some water spewing out of the front of the 20 car as he enters turns 3 and 4, but he's got enough to make it to the end right now. Off the exit of turn 4, checkered flag waves. John Hunter Nemechek will win the final race at the Auto Club Speedway on the 2-mile oval, and it comes in the Xfinity Series under the lights on a Sunday night. Mayer ends up second, Justin Allgaier third, Chandler Smith fourth, and Josh Berry will round out the top 5 here this evening. Stay tuned for our post-race coverage. You'll get to listen to all interviews from your top finishers. We'll go through the finishing results, and then we'll wrap up this second stream here on a Sunday. Long day of streaming. Pretty good race. I thought this race was honestly a little bit better than the Cup race earlier, if you ask me. Bigger stories in the Cup Series, but as a race as a whole, I think this race was better. Some great battles for the lead. Stage 2, early Stage 3, even that last restart. But John Hunter Nemechek will survive to win on these late race restarts, having to fend off the field on multiple occasions with a couple of late race cautions, and he was able to do so successfully. This will lock Nemechek into the Xfinity Series playoffs. Remember, running full-time. He has not ran full-time in the Xfinity Series until this year. Size E, thanks for tuning in. Big Dog, also welcome in towards the end. Great hit, Nick. We'll get to hear from race winner John Hunter Nemechek here in a couple of moments. Water spewing out of the car, and that was even with no burnout. I'm going to try to save that engine as best as I can, probably for Michigan later this year, I'd have to assume. But John Hunter Nemechek is your race winner in the Production Alliance Group 300 at the Auto Club Speedway. And he will be the only driver who could say that he won the last ever race at this 2-mile oval. Kyle Busch wins the last Cup race earlier today. Former Joe Gibbs Racing driver, and now a current driver in their development system, will get the win under the lights in the Xfinity Series.
For Kyle Busch, won a lot of races, but couldn't run down. He hopes to do it this year in the Xfinity Series, and he's off to a real good start. Josh?
John Hunter Nemechek celebrating after being so close to winning at Daytona last week. You get it done here. Earlier you told me you've been so fast here in the past, you just couldn't close the deal. What was the difference here tonight?
Man, Ben and this whole 20 team gave me one heck of a race car. This Toyota Supra was as fast as Xfinity 10G. I actually think it was faster than Xfinity 10G, but just huge shout out to all the guys that work on this 20 team. I think a lot of guys doubted Ben coming down from the Cup Series, and to have him on the box and be able to establish a relationship that I have with him has been awesome. So I've worked with most of the guys on this team over the last couple years, and pit crew, they got it done when it counted tonight. So I have some things that I need to address on my end, but overall an amazing Toyota GR Supra with our Vons and Albertson colors. And got to say hi to Aspen and Taylor back home. Sadly, they didn't make the trip out here. Coach, not sure if he's here, but thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the opportunity from everyone at Toyota TRD, all of our great partners, and wish Coy was here to celebrate with us.
John Hunter, your journey has been well documented. Back full-time in the Xfinity Series, this time with JGR. What is different about you this time around?
man, I feel like this is one of the best opportunities that I've had in my lifetime, and just grateful to have the opportunity that I have to, and that everything is going to plan. When I took the step back from the Cup Series, I prayed a lot and had a lot of conversations with not only God, but a lot of the mentors in the Cup Garage, and it seems to be going to plan. So I'm proud of this whole team, proud to be a part of this Joe Gibbs Racing organization, and starting the year off right, second and first. So let's see if we can keep it up.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Well, 1 week ago, Sam Mayer was part of the
Sam
highlight
Mayer
reel at the
talked
end of
with
the race.
Regan
Looked like you're
Smith.
going to have a top 5 finish, end up on your roof. This week, though, a little different story. You end up completing the finish and get that second place run tonight.
Yeah, that last lap means a lot, that's for sure. But I'm super proud of my JRM Accelerate team. I mean, we struggled early on, that's for sure. We had our work cut off for us, but I mean, we threw the kitchen sink at it, and we ended up second. So, I mean, all things considered, I'm really, really happy and really proud of these guys. I mean, we started from the ground up this year, and I mean, obviously, so far, so good.
Thanks, Sam.
Nice bounce back for Sam Mayer.
Sam Mayer's got some thick eyebrows. I never realized that. I was kind of distracted during his interview. Sorry for any Sam Mayer fans out there. Not trying to be rude at the guy. It's just something I noticed. I never really noticed it before. Needless to say, we'll go through the finishing order real quick. If we get any other driver interviews between now and the end of this live stream over the next couple minutes, you guys will get to listen into that. Congratulations to John Hunter Nemechek for winning his first Xfinity race in the early going of the season. And again, the final race at the Auto Club Speedway in the 2-mile oval. It will be reconfigured to a short track. There's rumors that it may not even be on the schedule next year, depending on when they can get the renovations done. But whatever the case is, I enjoyed Auto Club Speedway for what it was. 2-mile oval, had some great racing over the years. Maybe a little lackluster in the early to mid-2000s while the track was still a relatively fresher pavement. But as we got into the late 2000s and into the early 2010s, this track really started to shine when it started to fall off a grip. It was still super, super fast to the very end. And, on top of it being a very fast intermediate track, there was a lot of slipping and sliding in those closing years, which is definitely fun to watch drivers on the edge of control in that essence, especially at these high speeds at this fast of an oval. And definitely a lot of fun to watch racing over the years, though, at Auto Club. It'll be a track that I'll definitely miss, that will no longer be on the NASCAR schedule, but hopefully the short track will bring on some good racing in the Southern California region here for years to come. Nemechek with the win, 0.7 of a second was the margin of victory. Sam Mayer ends up finishing second, Justin Allgaier third, Chandler Smith fourth, and Josh Berry rounds out the top 5 and fifth today. Austin Hill sixth, Riley Herbst seventh, Austin Dillon eighth. Which is incredible considering he had a hole in the right front fender. That late caution definitely bailed him out, though, as well. Brett Moffitt, quiet, solid day, finishes ninth, and Parker Kligerman rounds out the top 10 in the 48 car. Joe Graf Jr. in the 19 car for Joe Gibbs Racing today finishes 11th. Daniel Hemrick in 12th. Hopefully his knee is okay. We'll find out more on that in the next couple days once he gets his MRI. Kaz Grala ends up 13th, Ryan Sieg in 14th, Kyle Sieg 15th, Josh Williams 16th, Anthony Alfredo 17th, Jeremy Clements 18th, Sammy Smith got in that late spin, finished 19th, tough break for him. He led over a dozen laps today, ended up leading multiple different occasions, was top 3 all day, but got in that late spin, 5 wide on the last restart, really nothing of his own doing, kind of got boxed in and turned from behind by Austin Hill. Tough break for him. Put on a show, though. Parker Retzlaff ends up finishing in 20th, Raja Karut 21st, Jeb Burt 22nd, Sheldon Creed 23rd, Ross Chastain 24th, Brendan Poole 25th, and Jeffrey Earnhardt, last car in the lead lap, will finish 26th. Cole Custer, 1 lap down. He won the first 2 stages of the race today, but ended up 27th. 28th place was Joey Gase, Bailey Curry 29th. Alex LeBay 28th, Joey Gase 29th, and Bailey Curry in 30th. Blaine Perkins 31st, Timmy Hill 32nd, Brandon Jones in 33rd. He had an uneventful day today for himself. Ryan Ellis ended up 34th, David Starr 35th, Tyler Reddick 2 laps down at 36th with damage to his car. CJ McLaughlin 37, 3 laps down. The only car that DNF'd in the Xfinity race today was Greg Gaulding, who blew a right front tire at lap 26 today in stage 1. Again, the only driver to DNF, despite the fact that we did have 10 cautions in this race. And with those 10 cautions, we also had 8 different leaders. 8 different leaders, 23 lead changes through the 300 miles and 150 laps here today at Auto Club. So appreciate everybody tuning in. My voice lasted all 700 miles today. I'm surprised it did, but I'm glad you guys tuned in through both races. I know a lot of you were here in the Cup race earlier and here in the Xfinity race later on today. Appreciate that so much. Unfortunately, we couldn't get the race in yesterday, but we got both races in today, and we finished off Auto Club Speedway with a bang. 2 pretty good races. I thought this Xfinity Series was probably the better way to go out just because I thought it was a slightly better race in the Cup Series today. But congrats to our winners, Kyle Busch, John Hunter Nemechek, and with their new homes, of course. I mean, I know Nemechek has been with Toyota the last couple of years, but full-time in the Xfinity Series now, and of course Kyle Busch full-time at RCR getting his first win with that organization earlier today on the Cup side. Thanks, everybody. I will see you guys tomorrow night. We'll be live streaming. I think we'll be running the... I'm not sure exactly what we're going to be racing yet, but likely the start time... I don't even know the start time. Just be on the lookout for the community tab. It's either going to be NASCAR 06 Busch race at Watkins Glen, or it's going to be a NASCAR 22 race at Michigan. I'm unaware exactly what I'll go with yet. More than likely it'll be Michigan because I'm off of work, so I'd rather do that, knowing it's going to be a longer race tomorrow, and then potentially NASCAR 06 on Tuesday, Wednesday, but we'll see. I will let you guys know again in the community tab tomorrow. Appreciate it. Have a good rest of your Sunday night. Thanks, everybody, for the appreciation and support as always. We'll be live next weekend for Truck, Xfinity, and Cup for live race commentary streams, starting off Friday night with the truck race. That'll start at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Xfinity race at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time on Saturday. And then on Sunday, our Cup race live commentary stream at Las Vegas will be at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Same start time as today. Hit the like button if you haven't done so. 96 likes. Our goal was to get to 100. So if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. We'll try to get that to 100 here before I close the stream out. And then also, well, even maybe just beyond that, because we had 102 for the Cup Series. So appreciate everybody smashing that like button. We almost broke our Cup race. And I think we were live streaming for like an hour and a half less for this one. So thanks, everybody. I will see you guys tomorrow, and for those of you who I won't see till the next live commentary stream, see you next weekend at Las Vegas. Have a good rest of your night, and hopefully enjoy the action.